Our first guest today, Richard Warwick, is one of the survivors speaking out in the new documentary.
After being treated for haemophilia as a child, a disorder where the blood can't clot, Richard was administered contaminated blood products, and as a result, he contracted HIV as well as hepatitis B and C. And he joins us now this morning. Richard, thank you for coming in. It's an extraordinary documentary. I mean, it really is searingly painfully honest in many ways for the reality of what you and those other people that contracted all these, used with the infected blood, had on you is just devastating. Let's start with your diagnosis. So you were diagnosed as haemophilia as a child.
Yes, I was born with haemophilia. It's a hereditary condition. I was diagnosed at the age of about 3 years old.
What was the impact of that on your childhood?
It was very difficult for my parents because there was a lot of concern, particularly among social workers, that I was having these large lumps and bumps all over my body. They didn't know what it was. So they got involved, and it wasn't really until I was like 3.5, 4, that I actually got finally a diagnosis in Hull. So this little lad's got haemophilia, spending a lot of time in hospital, losing an enormous amount of schooling. So between sat at home on the sofa, watching other kids play outside, and being stuck in hospital in plaster cast splints and traction, something had to change.
You just weren't living life, were you?
Exactly.
Sort of existing.
Yeah.
So then when the offer came to go to Treloar's College, which was, by all intents and purposes, and he's called in the documentary almost like a Harry Potter-style college, where there was loads of space outside, there was loads of opportunity for you, and you could be treated at the same time.
That was the point of it, really.
Yeah.
It seemed too good to be true, and it was 300 miles away. But what it did have going for it is that I would get on-site care, and also world-class education. And although it was a huge wrench for my parents to send me that far away from home, they, at the time, thought it was the best thing to do. I mean, the glossy brochures that they got, talking about the pros of the school, it was really a no-brainer, so they opted for sending me down there. What we know now, that my parents nor I didn't know at the time, but it was actually a ruse to get as many haemophiliac young boys from the ages of 8 and upwards into one place so that they could be used for secret medical trials. And we really only found out, I would say, 2 years into me being down there, that something was seriously wrong, because we were going around in groups, 5 or 6 boys with yellow eyes, jaundiced, ill. So we knew something was amiss.
And that was after a certain amount of time, because you were having a lovely time being there at the school. And, when you watch the documentary, that's what you get. You get this bond between you all.
You do, yeah.
But then you were being treated, and gradually more and more boys were getting sick. They thought sometimes it was glandular fever, but that wasn't a thing either.
No.
Well, how was this explained to you? And was it just hidden under the carpet and nothing was spoken about to your parents?
It wasn't explained to us, that's the thing.
Right.
As far as the hepatitis B goes, and the yellow skin and eyes, we were told essentially it was just a side effect of the treatment. What upset us the most is that we were being segregated at meal times. We were being put on separate tables, the cutlery, the plates all marked.
They had orange or yellow marks, didn't they?
Red stickers on them. And we just looked at each other bemused. But as children, as little kids, you tend to shrug these things off.
Of course.
I think when we all started to go down with glandular fever, which I think colloquially is called, or known as the kissing disease.
Yeah,
I mean, none of us were in relationships at the age of 12.
No, you were lads.
But that was a precursor, as we now know through medical evidence, of early HIV. And we're talking about 1978 here.
Yeah.
Long before the AIDS crisis.
Of course. There was headlines, wasn't there? The killer blood headlines started to circulate there on some of the newspapers.
In the Daily Mail.
In the Daily Mail. And suddenly people started talking about what was happening. And they tried to keep some of those headlines and the newspapers from some of your classmates, didn't they?
Absolutely. Basically, they rifled through the library, the school library, and took away all the newspapers mentioning and referencing the link between haemophilia and HIV/AIDS.
Because they were scared about you all starting to piece things together.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
So when were you actually told about this? Because in the documentary, there is a moment where somebody explains the situation, and you're all in a room, and there's a doctor, and he goes, "You've got it, you haven't, you've got it, you have." When did you find out, and when did they tell your parents?
I found out personally in probably about 3.5 years after I was diagnosed. I was tested for HIV in December 1984. Wasn't told the results. And it was my GP. I developed epilepsy. As a side note, I developed epilepsy as a result of the HIV infection. And I was going for a checkup, routine checkup with my GP to say, how are you getting on with your meds and so on and so forth. And he turned around to me and said, just before I left, he said, "Richard, you do know you're HIV positive, don't you?" And I blankly stared at him, and I said, "I didn't."
What year was that, Richard?
That would be 1980, I would say October 1987. So I walked home to see my girlfriend. We were living at her mum and dad's house at the time. It was a wet, cold, dark night. It was raining, and I just walked home with my head down, and I said, "Tina, we've got to go upstairs and we've got to talk. I've got something to tell you." And we just hugged each other and cried and talked, and then things got, after that, there was another problem.
Just devastating for you as a couple as well, because you wanted to have children.
Yes,
and the diagnosis of HIV in the sort of mid to late 80s was devastating, wasn't it? It wasn't like it is now, where we know that you can live with it and there's things you can do. Back then it was, this is terminal.
The prognosis was, if you contracted HIV and it was untreated, there was no treatment available at the time, the prognosis was a lifespan of about 18 months to 2 years.
Gosh.
So we were in between the point at which I had HIV and there was no treatment. So in late 1991, AZT came onto the market, which was a real game changer. But at the time, there was no treatment. So I'd been given this prognosis. We had one of those things that happens in life, an accident between us. Tina became pregnant, then morning sickness and such like, so she knew what was going on. Went to the GP, her doctor, and he said to her, "It's in your best interest and the interest of the child that you terminate this pregnancy." We had two options to think about. Either the child is born and it's okay, and I die 2 years later, so the child grows up without a dad, or the child is born with HIV itself, or a mixture of both. So at the time, it seemed the obvious choice to make, but sadly, it was Tina's last chance to have children. So consequently, we haven't been able to start a family.
And Richard, it's affected your life in every way, emotionally, mentally, work, insurance, every single way, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. I mean, it's prevented me from leading a normal, productive life. Being able to provide for a family, which I've never had. But that aside, it means I haven't been able to contribute to society in the way that I wanted to do. I did really well at school on the technical sciences and with computing and so on and so forth. So those are the ambitions I had for the future, but all that's been taken away from me. And it's just been a constant roller coaster of infections, bleeds, disability, pain. I would say the first 10 years of my life was just pain, anguish, pain, anguish, pain, anguish. And then going to a school and meeting people that were in your own situation with haemophilia was amazing. We had this freedom. We were able to talk amongst ourselves about our problems.
Connection and community.
And the connection and the community was fantastic. But as we later found out, there was something far sinister behind it.
You've been campaigning for years for answers. Of course, we've had the inquiry. And we're now in a situation where you're campaigning for compensation to actually be delivered. Where are you with the compensation part of that?
I haven't had any compensation yet. So we just plod on and plod on and plod on.
Because in the report, the doctor actually said it's a distressing catalogue of failures. I mean, they could have even heat treated the factor VIII and got rid of all those viruses. But you were let down time after time after time.
Yeah, it's beyond belief, really. You couldn't make it up. No. You couldn't write a book about it. They ignored the warnings. They gave us this wonder drug, as it was called at the time. You know, this was going to revolutionise our lives.
But they were just experimenting on us.
They were just experimenting on us.
It's so sinister, as you say. Trelawn's College said, "We sincerely apologise to former students and families who were so devastatingly affected by the infected blood scandal. The treatments by clinicians of pupils at Trelawn's in the 70s and 80s was unethical and wrong. A public memorial dedicated to former Trelaw pupils is an important recommendation of the inquiry's report, and we are fully committed to ensuring all those impacted by Trelawn's are remembered." With regards to the compensation, the Infected Blood Compensation Authority, they say our priority is to pay many people as soon as possible. We aim to start on average 100 claims a week, expecting all living infected individuals registered with support schemes to begin their claims by the end of 2025, so that's the end of this year. We're recruiting up to 500 claim managers and planning to add around 80 monthly from late June to increase the number of claims we can process. Is that enough, do you think, Richard?
We can only keep our fingers crossed and hope that it is. You know, people are dying at an average rate of two a week now. That's gone up. We just hope they get a crack on and start processing more claims, because people are dying. It's wrong, it's unfair. This should all have been sorted out and started 2 years ago, not 6 months ago.
And what about that public memorial?
Right. We, as a group who feature in the documentary this evening, would like a prominent memorial to recognise the lives and deaths of the 80 boys that we lost at the school. That's really, really important to us, and one of the reasons we went ahead and did the documentary. We want recognition for those boys and the families of those boys to remember them. They can't speak for themselves anymore. We can.
Which is the least you deserve. And it sounds like Trelawn's College are very keen to make sure they're fully committed to that happens. So the sooner that happens, the better. The British blood scandal poisoned at school is on tonight at 9 p.m. on ITV1 and ITVX. Thank you for coming in and being so eloquent. And fingers crossed you get that compensation up and running and sorted as soon as possible.
Thank you, Ben.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
Our next guests know firsthand the dangers faced by prison staff behind bars. Former prison officer Ryan Goodenough was left in a coma after being brutally attacked by inmates at a facility for young offenders.
Ryan joins us now alongside former inmate Raphael Rowe, who spent 12 years behind bars for a wrongful murder conviction and has since dedicated his life to shining a light on the prison system. Good morning to both of you. Thank you for coming in this morning. Ryan, can we start with you? So you started your work in a youth correctional facility. You were just 21 years old?
Yeah. It was a secure training centre, so it was more about therapy and rehabilitation. However, because of the no-refusal policy and the overlay and overspill of other institutes that support children, it was effectively, youth.
Correctional facility?
Yeah.
So you were very young at the time, you were only 21. How long had you trained to get the job?
Well, you did 9 weeks of training, so it wasn't a lot. But when I kind of talk about why I got into that sort of work, I do recognise a lot of it comes from my early years and the journey that I had as a person. And that kind of led me into wanting to work with children. So talking about training, the direct training was 9 weeks, but I suppose you could argue I trained my whole life for it.
Sure.
And can you tell us what happened the day of the attack and how it occurred?
It's a really long story, but to keep it short and sweet, I was on a unit, so part of the role is to just be with the children and you've got to safeguard them, make sure that they're okay, make sure they're well, make sure that they're safe. They have these allocated slots for activities, so they can go out and go on the AstroTurf, they can go into the sports hall, go into the gym. And there was a bit of a dysregulated vibe to the morning. There was a few incidents in the day, and then I got moved unit in the evening, so I was working a day shift from about 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. And when I got moved in the later shift, it was very heightened. It kind of felt
Tense.
all over the place. A bit tense, yeah, I suppose you could say. I've walked in, I see settees flipped up on the side. I see boys just causing
So there was
all
a
kinds of
febrile
chaos.
atmosphere.
There was a
already.
bit of that, yeah, a bit of that. But I got on really well with them. So they've walked in, they've seen me walk in, and they've thought at this time for activity because they'd missed it. They were a bit late. We were short on staff, so I took them out to the AstroTurf, as was allowed. That's what was set up for them. And then when I got onto the AstroTurf, we radio through, we say we're secure on site, we're secure in this location. And then I just see a boy trying to effectively escape the AstroTurf. Not
Climb a wall.
Yeah, no, he was
Climb a
trying to
fence.
climb the fence.
Right.
So it was only going to be escaping, I use loosely, but he would have been escaping a place where I said it was secure. So he was trying to get over the fence into the basketball court. And I'd gone over, before I'd went over, I'd put my body-worn camera on, I'd pressed for first response, meaning that I'd called for staff to arrive to assist me. Then I've just seen him climb in, and then I've tried to verbally bring him down. He hasn't listened, but at that point, criteria had been meant to use reasonable and proportionate force.
Right.
So I've guided him off, and then I've had, suddenly this one boy has become free, and then I've got 3 of them trying to put him on the floor, stayed on my feet, and then I've kept him at arm's length.
Right.
And then as they're at arm's length, 2 more come in, and now I've just got 5 boys kind of laying into me. So
And they knocked you to the ground.
No, so I wasn't actually knocked over. They tried to take me down, but I mean, I managed to keep on my feet.
Can you ask how old they were? Right.
So they were aged 14 to 16.
Okay.
14
So young
to 16.
teenagers.
Yeah, young teenagers. They were children. They're children. And
It's interesting because you've described them as children quite a lot. But of course, they were children that attacked you physically. And that attack led to you going to hospital.
yeah.
And then ending up in a coma.
Yeah, but they still are children. So I still work with children. And when I went to hospital, a coma wasn't on my mind. I thought I had concussion. And then suddenly it just started to bleed out my nose, and I started to vomit blood. I got taken through to this ward just to be checked, and then I got put on my back. I kind of laid down, looked up, see the bright lights, kind of like I'm looking at now. And then I looked left, looked right, and then suddenly I just fell asleep, and I woke up 3 weeks later.
3 weeks later.
Give or take, yeah.
And what do you think should happen to the prison? What do you think should happen? Do you think that supermax prisons would be a good idea, based on your experience?
Well, my experience is individual to me, and my personal opinion is that we have to approach things from a point of therapy, and we have to be trauma-informed. When we look at prisons, whether they work or don't, that's up for conversation. But what we see is we see individuals who are suffocated by trauma, they're living with trauma. And when we don't put enough support in place for that, situations like this happen. I was in court reading a victim's personal statement when the boys were being sentenced, when the children were in court, and I said quite strongly, and I stand by it to this day, they were fighting the uniform, they weren't fighting me.
Right.
So it's that the perception of anger and aggression is always what you see on the surface is anger and aggressions. You kind of label them as aggressive, bad children or bad humans, bad people. But beneath that, there's usually fear, there's anxiety, there's trepidation, there's worries, there's concerns. Emotions we all feel, but some people aren't developed enough by the right people.
They still attacked you, though. They still attacked you, put you in a coma for 3 weeks. I think a couple of them got extra time on their sentences, one of them 18 months, one of them 6 months. And the reality is that they felt empowered, angry or frustrated as it was, to attack the uniform that was there to keep him safe. That's all you were trying to do. You didn't want him to hurt himself, the lad that was climbing the...
But I see the argument of empowered or not. I think it's almost baseless without looking at the fear, without looking at the trauma.
Sure.
My role wasn't to condemn them or to lock them up. My role was to support them and help them. And the way we do that is to see them as children. That's why I'm very heavy on using the word children, because I do stand by the fact they were fighting the uniform, not because it was specifically that uniform, but because I was authority. I was telling them what to do. And we're all products of our environment. Some of us are victims of it.
Yeah.
Well, Raphael, I mean, if you look at your experience, you are absolutely a victim of your environment because you ended up spending 12 years in prison for a crime that you didn't commit. You've since gone on to explore the world of prisons around sort of the globe in order to understand how best to rehabilitate prisoners, what the prison system is like. What's been your experience of that, both as a prisoner and then going into prisons and exploring what they're like globally?
Yeah, I think, I've seen it from both perspectives. So as a prisoner who often got into conflict with prison guards, violently attacking prison guards myself, being attacked by prison guards because of the regime or the conditions within the prisons, the supermax, you could say, prisons that I was held in here in the UK. I was held in maximum security prisons in the UK. Conditions are really, really bad. But after being released and my convictions being overturned and becoming a journalist, I have travelled the world documenting life inside prisons around the globe. And the difference is extreme. You have really humane conditions in Scandinavian prisons where, you enter the prison, the officer reaches out and shakes your hand and makes you automatically sort of disarms that aggression that you go in, this kind of aura that you take into a prison. Whereas in other places I've been, supermax prisons, prison officers don't go within 10 metres of the prisoners, and when they do, they're holding shotguns, and prisoners have to put themselves behind their cells or their pavilions, and then the guards retrieve and the gates are locked, but they don't go within 10 metres of the prisoners. They're so dangerous. So the extremes can be both ends. That's been my experience.
There's been an increase in attacks on prison staff. We've seen the two that we mentioned in the film beforehand. And there is concern about prison staff, and it's an amazing amount of compassion that Ryan has for the children, as he describes them, that still attacked him and caused him long-term damage. He has a long-term brain injury from that attack. Do you think the introduction of supermax-style prisons for our most dangerous offenders here in the UK is the right way to go?
I think we have to bear in mind that a prison is just a symbolic structure, right? It's just bricks and bars and barbed wire, and it's secure. It's the people that are in these environments that you have to concern yourself with. So if you put a bunch of guys and women, because there is an increased number of violent attacks by female prisoners on prison staff and females, even though the prison population for females are a lot less. So it's the people that are in the prisons. And for me, if you put a bunch of violent prisoners, and I think a third of our prison population are in for violent offences, if you put them into one environment, it's a boiling pot, isn't it? Not only will they attack themselves, but as soon as they're let out of their doors. And I'll give you an example. When you lock somebody behind a door like I was, and my circumstances were slightly different because I was innocent, right? But I was angry. But anybody, guilty or not, you put them behind a door for 23 hours a day, not only are they banging their heads against this square space, but then they're on their hands and knees and behaving like an animal. So you open the door and they're going to go woof. They're going to want to bite you. They're going to want to attack you. So you've got to do more. So whether it's a supermax prison or one of the prisons that already exist, it's what you do in those environments that matters. So are you trying to rehabilitate these individuals who are behind these doors, behind these walls, or are you just trying to contain them, i.e. it's a detriment, it's redemption, it's kind of punishment. That's what prisons are for. And I don't think I've met anybody in the 20 years I've been a journalist looking at these issues. I don't think I've met anybody in that time that has said to me they don't believe in rehabilitation. They want people who have gone to prison to be punished for what they've done. But during that time, whether it's a supermax prison or not, they've got to be rehabilitated, whatever that entails, you know. But the majority have issues that, Ryan has identified, mental health issues, So supermax prisons or mental health institutions. For me, I think the government would be better spending their money on mental health institutions to address the kind of underlying problems that drive the criminality and the behaviour of people that end up in prison.
We've done a poll here on the show. Should the UK introduce US-style supermax prisons? 93% of people think yes, 7% think no.
I think one of the difficult things is when you see the perpetrators of the attacks we've seen most recently. So Axel Rubalcaba, we know what the atrocity that he committed, and then to attack a prison guard as well, and he's only young, right? You can understand why our viewers would be absolutely, these people need to be kept away from the prison guards who are trying to rehabilitate them, who are trying to help them and keep them safe.
Then we talk about trauma some more, and I can't speak on that incident. I don't know the story or the situation, but we don't wake up one day and think, I'm going to go and do a madness, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to go do that. The problem that we have is there isn't enough early intervention, there isn't enough work in primary schools. We've got mental health services that if you're 16, 17 years old, there's no point even referring you to it, because by the time you reach the top of the list, you're an adult, you're no longer eligible for the service. So mental health is, I think, as Raphael was saying, that's where the focus needs to be. If we want to prevent people committing acts of such devastating incidents, and it's not something that, again, I would comment on because I don't know the ins and outs, but certainly when we look at prevention, we have to be looking at doing it early as opposed to reacting by building things that are effectively already in place, just being a bit more punitive, perhaps.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to get your insight. Thank you both.
I could listen to them talk all morning.
Ryan, thank you.
So
Appreciate that. And also
thank
Raphael
you.
as well. It's certainly a subject that we need to talk more about, isn't it? I think ultimately.
Yeah.
There's no easy solution.
No.
There isn't an easy solution. I think that's the important thing, isn't it? Because it's really interesting that you say 93% or whatnot people believe in supermax prisons, but that's headlines, right? I mean, anybody who walks into a prison will see an environment where the guards are doing the best that they can, the prison officers, the staff that work in it, auxiliary staff, the probation officers, and all the other people that give up their time to work in these environments around the globe, and I've seen it, the scale has been very different. But at the end of the day, we have 90,000 people in this country out of a population of 70 million that are in prison, and the majority are in there for economical crimes rather than violence. So are supermax prisons the right places for people who are desperately trying to overcome the crisis that we are under at the moment? And I think we have to ask ourselves those sorts of questions.
Yeah.
Thank you both for coming in.
you.
Oh, hello.
Thank you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
We're talking about a worrying trend now. So they promise to leave you tanned, bronzed and glowing, but could nasal tanning sprays be dangerous?
Yeah, trading standards have issued stark warnings about the potential deadly side effects, including the risk of skin cancer.
Model and beauty queen Jen Atkins says she was left with permanent skin damage after using an unlicensed spray. She joins us alongside consultant dermatologist Dr. Emma Wedgeworth to warn of the dangers.
Welcome.
Thank you for joining us, girls. Jen, this is horrible. I didn't even know nasal tanning sprays were a thing.
Yeah, well, I didn't until I had a message on Instagram and someone said, can I send you these products for free in, exchange for promotion? And I was like, so flattered. I was like, yes, send me it. And I'd never looked into nasal tans in my entire life, and I love a tan. And I thought, I'll give it a go.
What harm can it do, right? It's not...
No.
Did they show you kind of before and after pictures of somebody else that had perhaps used it and the kind of like results you were going to get?
Yeah, so I'd seen it just on a few of their posts.
Yeah.
But their Instagram page was actually private, which should have raised like a massive red flag to me. Obviously didn't. And I was naive and I just took the product, started using it. I used it twice. The first time, it made me feel so sick, dizzy. I was actually driving to work, so how incredibly dangerous is that? And my face was bright red, itchy. It was just horrific. But silly me tried it again the next day, and it was even worse. I thought I was going to throw up on the way to work. It was awful.
And just for a bit of sort of context and backstory, so you won the title of Miss Great Britain in 2020. So then I guess your Instagram would be flooded with people go, oh, you should try, can you endorse this or try this or we'll send you something. And stuff you probably wouldn't give it that much thought, would you?
No. So obviously when I won Miss Great Britain, I had loads of messages like you said, and I was just so flattered. And
of course.
I just wanted to please everyone and sort of become this like influencer. And I didn't think of the repercussions of it. And now if anyone says to me, I want to be an influencer, I say you've got a responsibility as an influencer who are influencing all of your followers to be honest about products. And I wish I'd have done that all these years ago, because obviously look what it's done to me. So yeah, that's why I'm here, just to spread awareness of it,
Does
really.
it happen? Is it like someone would take an inhaler? Does it look like a normal inhaler? How does it look? So
it's just like a small bottle. You keep it in the fridge and you just sniff it twice. And I'm sorry, but the only thing you should be sniffing in your fridge is milk to check that it's not out of date. But no, it's so small. And something so small can do so much damage.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's given me this pigmentation that I'll hopefully be able to get rid of. It's been years and I've not been able to get rid of it yet. But, it's embarrassing. It's on my face and it's something that's happened from 2 squirts of nasal tan. I didn't realise how dangerous it was. And
yeah, well, thank goodness you're okay, and hopefully we can tackle the melasma. But Dr. Emma, is this something that's becoming more and more common? People are using these nasal tanning sprays.
Unfortunately, it is. We are seeing this in clinic, and we know that they're quite widely advertised on social media platforms. People are just desperate to get a tan, and they're doing things that actually we know that now can be harmful. So it's really important that people are aware that they do have quite negative side effects and can be really quite dangerous.
Because there's also tanning injections and tanning pills, and those kind of products have been around for years, but they've always been I've been out of bounds for me. I'm always just like, put it on my skin, just do a nice self-tan with a cream or a lotion. But like the injections and now the sprays, I mean, it's just the things that people go to try and be tan.
It's a real worry. So injections and nasal sprays are a form of a chemical which stimulates your pigment-producing cells. And this can be really dangerous in lots of ways. So just like Jen was saying, it can actually affect your kidneys, it can make you feel unwell, and the problem is that it can really stimulate things like moles and freckles, and we do worry that it might increase the risk of skin cancers as well.
So Emma, what is getting injected? What is getting inhaled? What's the component?
So it's a hormone known as melanotan-2. And basically this stimulates something called melanin-stimulating hormone, which is the hormone that we have within us, which produces pigment. But the problem is we don't know the dose, we don't know how it's working with each individual, so it's totally unregulated. And it's really affecting the way that your body actually works. So I'd really advise not to use any of these sorts of products.
And pigment, that should normally just come through the environment around you, right? I mean, how much vitamin D you get, how much sun you get, and what you're comfortable with. That's how that process would normally take place.
Exactly. So normally what happens is your skin is exposed to the sun, and it produces a little bit of melanin, the pigment which gives you a tan, and that helps to longer term sort of try and protect against UV damage.
Yeah.
Now, everyone's a bit different in the way they tan. If you are really fair skinned like me, you just don't tan, right? And you just got to accept what you've got. Some people tan very, very easily. But what we shouldn't be doing is just lying out and trying to tan our skin, or being on sunbeds, or using things to try and tan our skin, because that will cause damage.
We've actually got some photos of you, Jen. We've got some before and after. So I think this is really interesting to see, because it really demonstrates how your skin was prior to using the nasal sprays, and then the reaction that your skin had to it. I mean, it's literally...
That's awful.
It's
How long did it take for that reaction to kind of inflame and show?
Well, I didn't notice it. I think after the 2 times I used it, I went to Mexico the week after.
Yeah.
And after the first day, I noticed it straight away. And I was having comments already. And my mum was like, what on earth is going on?
Yeah.
And people at breakfast were like, you've got some muck on your face. And I'm like, that's not muck. And it just never went away.
And is this a normal reaction to your skin after you've ingested, or in this case, in taking the nasal spray, your skin is like kind of having a freak out and like producing too much, and then you've got your natural process of your skin producing the melanin to protect your skin. So it's like a double whammy almost.
Yeah, so Jen has what's called melasma.
Yeah.
And we know that that's an overproduction of melanin, of pigment within that sort of area. And there are a number of different causes for it, like hormones, pregnancy.
Because they call that the mask of pregnancy, don't they, on the forehead?
Yeah,
Never been
exactly.
pregnant.
Really?
But I think what has happened in this case is that the nasal tanner has really stimulated it. And the other problem with these nasal tanners is that people then tell you, go out into the sun, get more sun exposure, and it stimulated the melasma.
It's unbelievable.
It is, isn't it?
It's unbelievable.
So will it go?
So, I mean, Jen, you were saying that this has been something that's been hanging around for about 5 years or so. Actually, this will go, but it needs treatment. It now needs medical treatments. We were talking earlier, which is a really positive thing, that we've got creams, we've got tablets, we've got lots of things that we can do about it. But it's really hard for people.
Yeah, it's really hard.
What difference has this made to you in your life?
Oh, it absolutely ruined my confidence. I know people are just, asking questions, but when people say, oh, what's that on your forehead? Or, oh, you've got a bit of contour there. I'm like, that's not contour. And obviously I was doing a lot of modelling. I was Miss Great Britain. And it absolutely ruined my confidence, especially towards the end of it. And I've barely done any modelling since. And yeah,
have you come out the other side yet? I mean, you look great.
You're beautiful, girl.
Oh,
absolutely beautiful.
You're singing now. You're country singers.
Yeah.
How have you found it? Like to find that courage just to be you again?
Luckily, country singers, cowboy hat.
Yeah,
thank goodness.
Writing about heartbreak. I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's a massive deal for me to be sat here on live television
brilliant.
with my forehead showing.
And then, what advice would you give people that are watching this?
So really, really don't use nasal tanners, nasal sprays, because actually they are dangerous and potentially can cause lots of side effects. If you want to boost the colour of your skin, then you can use fake tans. There are so many good ones around there. Okay, they're not perfect, but they are so much safer. And I think Jen and I both agree that for the sake of your health, it's simply not worth it.
Thank you.
We've got some right replies to read. So Raw from the Department of Business and Trade said a spokesperson said nasal tanning sprays are not covered by the UK cosmetic regulations and must therefore comply with the General Product Safety Regulations 2005. This means that the distributors selling this product, including online, must ensure they are safe before placing them on the market. Anyone with concerns about a product is urged to contact Citizens Advice or their local trading standards department.
And the Sunbed Association said, we are always sorry to hear of anyone experiencing health issues linked to UV overexposure, whether from the sun or sunbeds. Today's responsible sunbed sector complies with standards that, amongst other things, screens customers to ensure appropriateness to tan and rigorous enforces age restrictions, skin type assessments and session limits to protect users. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button and we'll see you in the morning.
It's one big minicab, Bill, let me tell you. And ahead of this weekend semi-final, we are delighted to welcome Mark, Victoria, Jess, Tim and Will, who are just some of the incredible members of the Hear Our Voice Choir. Welcome along, guys. So nice to have you here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Mark, we'll start with you. How was the choir established? When did it happen?
Well, it happened just over a year ago. And how was it established is that, sadly, this scandal, as you know, it's been going on for many years, over a quarter of a century for some people that were first impacted. And unfortunately, that bureaucratic procedure before we can get closure, before we can get final feelings, means that every single day the newspapers are talking about a setback of some sort or another. So I just thought, what we need is to find something where we can get an escape from that, but still have a commonality together.
Always hanging over you, I suppose.
Always hanging over us. So it's nice to have a little positivity, and what better than the joy of music?
And the reaction was incredible from the public. I mean,
Absolutely.
just
They were
unbelievably beautiful. And you had us all in the palm of your hands. It was just so magical. But it was the first time you'd all met up in person, wasn't it, at the audition?
Absolutely, yes.
How many people in the choir? Because there's quite a few on that stage.
There's a couple of people who had to drop out for certain reasons, but we're basically around about the 40 mark.
Yeah. Like you said, big mini cameo.
Who decides who's in the choir? So who's your own Simon Cowell? Is that you?
We have a committee.
Diplomatic answer there, Mark.
Because Will,
like
at the back there. Will, you weren't part of the choir initially, so how were you roped in?
I love the way you say roped in. Well, when we met, you referred to me as musical director, which I quite liked, actually. I hadn't said that before.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll...
Like, that guy looks like the MD.
That works, yeah. Well, no, initially, Mark, who's an old friend through my band, Will and the People, we used to tour in Vietnam, and Mark was out there with us, and he rang me up many years later and asked me to write a song for a choir that he was making.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that's cool. And that suddenly we're here now and we're going on Britain's Got Talent. So, this is kind of, it's been a bit of a whirlwind, hasn't it? But initially I was just going to write a song. Yeah. And now we've kind of got, we've got 3 songs and we've got a group of people who I know really well, and it's turned into far more than that for me. I feel a part of it now, truly, which is brilliant. Special, yeah.
And just having that connection with all of you, like being together, and the power of music, I mean, it's so powerful in helping you to recover and, trying to just move on a little bit with your lives, right?
Absolutely, it's completely about that.
Because Victoria, your family lost everything, didn't they?
They did, and the strange thing is, I didn't really know about all this until about a year and a half ago when my mum was able to tell me. Obviously, at the time, it was in 2001 when my mum was convicted. We knew something had happened, but I was only 7 years old. My sister was 12. We lost our house. My mum lost her business. Bless my mum and dad, they really worked really hard to keep our family dynamic, and we may have lost our house, but we found another house. But
it's incredible. That says a lot to them that they shielded you from that stress.
I completely honour that, and I totally understand, because we wouldn't have understood that at that age at all. But when she did finally tell us, it was like, oh my gosh, it was like all these things came to the surface, and I'm just so proud of them, for all of them.
Tim, what was it like stepping out into that BGT stage for you for that audition? How was it like?
It's a totally different feeling to the last 15 years because for the vast part of that we've been fighting against adversity, and a lot of the time we were sort of kept told we were the only people that were going through this. So to step on the stage with 40 other people feeling as a family was like the most brilliant flip turn of that we could stand together and show that this has not driven us apart, it's united us.
And I guess when you have that, everyone has that, everyone's been through something in their life where they get that gnawing feeling. When you wake up in the morning, it's there. You guys have had that for, like you said, 15 years, right? It's right there every time you... So in many ways, when you're standing on stage, like most people get very nervous standing on their stage. I imagine for you it was almost a release.
Yeah. It was the culmination of all the work that we'd put into this together, and there were no nerves. We just wanted to get out there and show how together we were.
And he's got a lovely voice. I bet you're a baritone, aren't you? At the back
I'm down.
They've all got lovely voices, I have to say. But the reaction from the audience and the judges, did it just blow your mind? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I really felt the support in that room. It was honestly overwhelming.
There's a lot of love in that room for you.
Jess, how was it for you?
Well, when that ABBA song come on, got me going. I thought I was on stage.
Like a bit Waterloo.
Well, you've been through a rough time. So how did the choir help with your recovery?
It put it behind me. We were all in it to have some fun. We've been through so much. Mine's been going on for 16 years. So I was part of the drama series. So my story was featured in the drama series Bates versus the Post Office. And it was just nice to know that I was asked to take part in the choir. And to be standing in front of, how can I say it? I did say it's nice to be standing in front of nice judges and not to be in a courtroom of judges. We're not going to be worried about getting sent down, going to prison or getting hefty fines and all the rest of it. We were there to be happy, and obviously all our families were there. We've made a really big family out of the choir. And obviously they're all watching, hopefully. So we've made a very big family, which we're going to continue. And let's see where this takes us. I just can't wait for Sunday, because it's just going to be it's going to be a very, very emotional day for everybody. But we're going to be happy. It's going to be tears of joy if we have tears.
Well, let's talk about Sunday. How are we feeling? Come on, guys.
Can you reveal what song you're singing? There's so many questions.
We're not going to reveal what the song is, but we can tell you that we really do think you're going to like it, that the audience are going to be moved. We just get a lot of connectivity out of it within our choir as well. So looking forward to it. It's going to be brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
The whole country's going to be rooting for you, aren't they?
It's something like, sorry to interrupt, our children are with us as well. So that makes it more special for us. Like Mark's daughters with Vic's obviously representing her mom. Myself and my son's going to be with me, Tim, and obviously Will here. He just makes us laugh all the time. He makes us, he keeps the school going.
Director.
He's got a new title.
Well, listen, best of luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you, sir.
You've obviously been through so much, but just as the Department of Business and Trade spokesman just said, we recognise the suffering victims of the Horizon scandal that Mark, Victoria, Jess and Tim have suffered. That's why this government has quadrupled the total amount paid to the affected postmasters to provide them with full and fair redress, with $964 million having now been paid out over 6,800 claimants. The BGT semi-final continues this Saturday, 7 p.m. on ITV1 and ITVX. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Good luck with it. Good luck.
Let's hear that big baritone in the back, baby. Take it home, Tim. Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
First guest today has been called the most inspiring man on social media.
For the past 20 years, personal trainer Javina McLean has dedicated his life to training those who've previously felt overlooked or unwanted in a gym.
This includes people with disabilities, long-term illnesses, or even conditions like dementia. And his inspirational workout videos have now won the hearts of millions around the world and gained him Hollywood fans like Michelle Pfeiffer.
3, 2, 1, 1. That's all you. And again, nearly there, babe. Go on now. I'm not doing it for you. Push it on. Keep going, Justin. Keep going. Keep going. Get to it, get to it, get to it. Go on. One more, one more, one more. There you go. Go on now. Come on now, Paul. Go on. Go on, get up. Keep coming. Go on, give me cuddle. Cuddle party. Go on, keep coming. Control it. Control it.
I texted you last night talking about the one with Lucas crossing the road. I was literally floods of tears.
As he releases his debut book, You Are Not Your Limits, thrilled that Jovino joins us alongside two of his very special clients, Amy Hodgkiss and Josh Goy. Morning, everybody.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
So lovely to meet you all. Jovino, congratulations, firstly, on the book.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
It's a wonderful read. I discovered you, as you know, just randomly. You popped up on my algorithm and I was gripped from the first moment I saw one of your videos training up your incredibly inspiring clients. And I was hooked. And I've been hooked ever since. We've been mates since then for a long time. But I'm trying to sort of explain to somebody who maybe hasn't come across you where you found this passion for training and helping people. Because it's not just about being physically fit for you, is it?
It's about forever friendships, and these guys and my clients that I've trained over the years, I think muscle can go, Ben. I think muscles and aesthetics, you get to a certain age, that can go. But when you truly care for people and love people, that's what will last forever for me. And to me, just making sure people feel seen and valued and just appreciated, that to me is the magic.
And it all kind of started a little bit by accident. You'd always loved sport, you'd loved cricket, you'd done all that, but you spotted a chap in the park who was watching his family play cricket, and from across the field, you just felt that something wasn't quite right.
And I had no reason, I love telling the story of Ishmael, but I had no reason to go over, but there's something inside of me felt like I just needed to intervene. I seen that he wanted in. It reminded me of, you know, when you see Wimbledon and as the ball's going, people doing this.
Yeah.
And he was doing that with the ball in his wheelchair. And long story short, I went over and I just made sure that he got involved, and I brought his family into the group of cricket that I was already coaching a big cricket session. And I just made him bat, and I said, for 2 hours, you're going to bat. And I made a game of it where if he hit the ball, everyone fielding, there was like 24 people. Nothing happens. If he swings and he misses, everybody did one press-up or one burpee. And his wife gave me a hug that just meant everything. She didn't speak a word of English, but I knew exactly what that hug meant, and I knew that that was my calling. I don't know what made me go over, but I'm so glad that I did go over.
And that moment as well, Jovino, when you suddenly realised that there was this gentleman who was sitting in his wheelchair, enjoying watching the sport, but desperate to get more involved. That was such a spark for you to go, there must be lots of people who feel excluded by exercise and sport because of physical issues or whatever. And actually, is there a way that you can make that accessible to them?
I think it's about treating people normal. It's about normality, Ben. I think it's the most powerful thing. And that's what my book is really about. It's about the power of normality and how the smallest acts of inclusion can change someone's life. And I think my work has allowed me to just be in a position where I'm just grateful, man. And I want people to just really absorb gratitude and just be really thankful for who they are and realise that they can do. When you watch these superstars do some of the stuff that they do, it instantly makes you go, I can do a lot more than what I thought I ever could.
Yeah.
And I think it makes people kind of realise that.
And from reading the book as well, it doesn't just improve people's fitness and strength. It means that people can get back their independence.
Of course it does, yeah.
You write in the book about Kira, about her being able to get in and out of the car now because you've trained her.
Yeah, definitely. I want him to live.
Yeah.
I think living life to the fullest is a gift that not everybody gets. And these wonderful people that I train, and I've trained for 20 years, I want them to enjoy life to the fullest. And sometimes there's certain things that we take for granted. The ability just to move, and it sounds silly, but getting in a car, I want these guys to experience the most magical things that life has to offer. And some of the magical things are the most simplest things.
One of the things I love, though, about watching your films as well is you don't give them an easy time. Amy, he works you really hard, doesn't he?
He definitely does. We don't know what we're doing when we get in the gym, but I'm telling you, we give it 110% all the time.
That's what you want to hear.
You got it.
Amy, how did you discover Jovino, and what's he been able to help you with?
I discovered Jovino through TikTok. My friend actually sent me his videos, and I just knew that I had to get in with him for me personally, he's allowed me to be more independent, give me a lot more confidence back, because I never used to leave the house. So he definitely has given me so many opportunities that I'm so, so grateful for.
And Josh, he pushes you hard, but he makes you laugh too.
Oh, always, every time. Whether it's a joke or just by how outlandish the workout is, he always makes me laugh.
And how did you first meet each other?
I met him because, basically, because his health centre is just right down the road from me. My auntie told me about him, and then we got in touch. And this will always, this will stay with me, this quote, because the first time I met him, he said, "I don't care about what you can't do. I only care about what you can do." And that just set the standard going forward. I knew that I'd made the right choice, and here we are.
Here you are.
Josh just mentioned there, it's a health centre. You call it a health centre. And that's a really deliberate thing that you've done.
Of course,
isn't it?
a gym can be quite intimidating. It could be quite lonely, especially for people that are new to exercise. If you walk in the gym and you see stallions like Ben Shepherd doing his bicep curls and his jumps, it could be quite intimidating. So I wanted to create a place where you could walk in there and it's a place full of love, man. You could have them two doing some wheelchair exercise. It could have my mum doing some Pilates. It could have me doing some deadlifts over there, somebody doing... Just a place where all different calibre of humans are exercising together, but we're all sharing the energy and the love of the place.
But what I love, Jovino, is that it's not somewhere, it's like not like an occupational therapy environment. It is a gym. There's hardcore people training there as well, in a community of people having a lot of fun. So people can come and be private members and pay, but you look after all of these members and you do it for free. You do it because you do it just because you know there's an important part of who you are and the difference it makes to them.
Of course, I've trained disabled people and disadvantaged people free for 23 years. And the reason being is we live in a world now where people chase money. If I train Josh or Amy and I take money off him, I'm training them for financial gain. I'm training them because I love them and I want them to live life. I want them to turn 50, 60, 70 and have memories, living their greatest life. If money comes into that conversation, it dilutes my care or my love for them. So as long as I live, I'll never take a penny off anybody disabled.
And some of the stuff you train the guys with is potentially life-saving as well, of course, because of the restrictions that they have with their mobility. You're training them to cope if they fell or come out of their chair or something goes wrong. I think some of the footage we've got is remarkable. Amy, how do you feel now physically after working out with Jovino?
I feel like there's a lot that's changed and it's all because of him. Like when I started, I couldn't do half the things I can do now, and that's all because of Jovino. Amazing.
And how about you, Josh?
Well, I've seen a lot of improvement in both my physical strength and my mental strength, because a lot of the stuff what he does with me is really hard. But now, because I've done so much over the years, I can go into it and think I can do this.
Yeah.
And you never thought you could run, right?
No, I mean...
Now he's legging it. He's legging
yeah,
it.
that is still, that is one of the hardest things I've ever done. Like, I was exhausted after that.
This clip here of you running around the centre.
Legging it, look at him.
Keep up now.
Yeah, that was hard work, but I'll tell you what, it's worth it because then everybody can see that and think, I can do that as well.
Yeah, and Amy as well. And we're running out of time, and we've got so much to talk about.
Yep.
You've gone global, all of you, because his videos are well known around the world. So you two and all the other clients are now superstars in your own right.
Yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable. I I can't believe it myself, and I'm so grateful for everybody's messages. It's just lovely from everybody around the world.
It's just
you know what I love the most, sorry, before we go, I tell people all the time, you're beautiful, you're strong. As big brother, I'm supposed to say that, but now, because they're superstars in their own right, I can just say, I told you so. When you've got people from all around the world.
Which is exactly what big brothers do as well. So you listen to your big brother.
Yeah.
What a smashing human being. Huh?
Amazing.
Absolutely. Your book, You Are Not Your Limits, by Jovino, is out now. You
Yes.
can go get it.
Buy me book, guys.
I also feel like this could be a movie.
You think?
Yeah.
Let's make it.
Shall we make the movie?
You got the
Let's give
connections.
Michelle Pfeiffer a call, shall we?
Yes, Michelle Pfeiffer's one of your fans. As she should be. Who would you think, Amy, who should play Jovino in the movie of his life?
I'd say Will Smith.
Will Smith would be bad.
He looks like him.
He looks like him, not though.
And he's funny.
Yeah.
And he's funny. Or The Rock. What about The Rock? Oh, no, not so sure about that.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
being
guys.
here.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Josh. Thank you, Amy. Lovely to see you. Thank you for coming on the show.
This is an incredible book. It's so inspiring. Can't recommend it
You'll
enough.
cry, for
You'll
sure.
cry.
And
I
you'll
cried.
laugh. Yeah.
You won't
you'll
cry
do the
about the
whole
introduction.
lot.
No, that's a little bit embarrassing. Jovino, lovely to see you. Thank you, Amy and Josh, for coming in.
Oh,
hello.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
Jobs, therapy, you name it, artificial intelligence is already part of our daily lives. But what really is it, and how do we use it to our advantage, and should we be scared of it?
Well, cybersecurity expert Jake Moore has helped businesses including the Bank of England, IBM and Meta get themselves ready for advances in AI technology.
Also joining us today is a brand new member of the This Morning family, our very own AI expert, Julia, who you can see here is not a real person. She is completely generated by artificial intelligence. And by the wonders of AI, we can actually talk to her live now. We're going to talk to her in just a second. How did you create Julia, Jake?
So, AI is fantastic. We're having so much fun with it at the moment. Over the last couple of years, it's just exploded. And there are so many tools out there that are able to give you so much more support in business and your social life. And there is so much out there that can benefit you. And so these tools that might seem quite strange are available to clone yourself or even clone, say, a PA like this.
So now, interestingly, Jake, can I ask how old you are?
I'm 43.
You're 43. So do you remember Tomorrow's World?
Oh, yeah.
OK, so Maggie Philbin used to have these sorts of things where they'd test technology live and it would go wrong, which is exactly what's happened. Julia's crashed. And in order to reactivate it, I think you've got to go behind the sofa and reboot the computer.
Well, they do say that you should never work with kids, animals, and now AI.
So do you want to go and relaunch Julia? This is exactly what used to happen with Tomorrow's World. I feel like it's a throwback to the late 80s.
For sure. I know exactly what you mean.
But you've created Julia, haven't you, Jake, using some pretty straightforward, simple software. It wasn't the most complicated thing to do. And in theory, if we get her working again, we'll be able to understand exactly how effective an AI assistant can be.
Yeah, so hopefully she comes back to life any minute now. But yeah, you really can interact with it like you're working with, say...
Oh, there you go.
There she is. Like you're working with a real person, like in ChatGPT.
Right, OK, so let's try talking to her. Julia, what is AI?
AI, or artificial intelligence, refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are designed to think and learn like people. It encompasses various technologies, such as machine learning and natural language processing, allowing computers to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. It's a fascinating field with endless possibilities.
Julia, we haven't told you what to say, have we?
No, you haven't. I'm here to provide information and assistance based on your queries. If there's anything specific you'd like to know, feel free to ask.
OK, so Julia, why does AI exist?
AI exists to enhance efficiency, automate tasks, and improve decision-making processes across various fields. It helps solve complex problems, enables innovation, and makes life easier by providing tools that assist in everyday activities. It's all about making things smarter and more streamlined.
Jake, maybe you can simplify that for us. I mean, she got quite serious, didn't she?
She got very serious about, don't even think that you've given me the questions and I've heard my answer.
So just, can you simplify it? Because there'll be people watching at home going, this is all fascinating, but what does it actually mean?
So AI takes a load of data and it puts all that data into what we call an algorithm, and then it works out what you're saying, what you're asking it, and it looks through all that data, and it puts it through this, and it comes out with an answer. But now, over the last couple of years, you can add tone to it, or you could just say, show it a photo, and it can understand what it can see, and it can do so much. In fact, it's so creative, you can do pretty much anything with it.
It's advanced significantly, but it's been around a while now, right?
Yeah, so for the last 20 years, we've called it machine learning. Hence the data in there, it's just looked through all this data and tried to establish what you might want from that. But the intelligent part of it, which is what we're seeing over the last, say, couple of years with ChatGPT and things, it's really starting to take the next level and evolve so quickly. And we're seeing things like this, and when it works, you can interact with it like this.
OK, so Julia, why does AI scare people?
Many people find AI frightening due to concerns about job displacement, privacy issues, and the potential for misuse in dangerous ways. Additionally, portrayals in media often emphasize dystopian scenarios, leading to fears about a loss of control. It's essential to navigate these concerns thoughtfully as we continue to advance in technology.
Julia, can I ask, those portrayals in the media and in films, which characters are you talking about?
While I can't ask you questions, I can share that characters like HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey and Skynet from Terminator are often cited as examples that evoke fears about AI. These portrayals highlight the potential dangers and ethical dilemmas surrounding advanced artificial intelligence, shaping public perception and concern. It's definitely an intriguing topic.
Could it happen?
While the scenarios depicted in films are largely fictional, there are valid discussions around the risks associated with advanced AI development. Experts are actively working on ethical guidelines and safety measures to ensure that AI technology is developed responsibly, aiming to prevent undesirable outcomes. It's a proactive approach to shaping a safe future with AI.
So, Julia, can you deceive people? Can AI deceive people?
AI can indeed produce outputs that may mislead or deceive if used improperly, such as generating false information or deepfakes. However, responsible use and ethical guidelines are crucial to minimize these risks and ensure AI serves to inform and assist rather than deceive. It's all about using technology wisely.
We have to use technology wisely. It's fascinating hearing her respond. I feel like she did confirm that the Terminator could happen as well, though. It might just be me. Let's go back to that point, that question that Kat just asked about being deceived, because you work as a security expert, and you actually use AI to try and test certain businesses' security, don't you? Cybersecurity. What sort of things have you done?
Yeah, so I like to use the latest technology just like scammers would, and try and test out the security in businesses. So a couple of years ago, for example, I cloned the voice of the CEO of a business. I hacked into his phone with permission, I've got to add. I then stole his WhatsApp number and then sent a voice note with the CEO's voice to the financial director asking for them to move money. And I asked them to move money into my account, and it took me 15 minutes to get £250 sent into my account.
From the CFO of a big business?
Yep.
I mean, you'd think somebody who would be really conscious of that sort of thing. It's amazing how sophisticated that was.
Yeah, so this is all about, say, hacking the human. And we hear about this all the time, but it's the fact that we can actually speak to people sounding like people now. It's not just an email or a text message. And that's where they are convinced into believing, well, it's got to be them. It's coming from the number, sounds like their voice. Well, yeah, it's not, say, policy to do it this way, but I've got to do it because they've got time constraints, for example.
Jake, I feel like I need to know so much more about this. I was going through Instagram this morning, and Joe Frost, Super Nanny, had put a post up actually saying, it was so weird that it was on this same day as well, talking about AI and saying, this is coming. As parents, we need to properly inform ourselves before we just kind of open the floodgates and let it over to our children. My kids are 9 and 7. how can I learn about it more? How can I find more information? And how can we keep our kids safe in a way and protect them?
I think it's all about learning with them. I think it's not just kids that are learning this now, it's all of us. Just like when, say, Google came out, we started to play around with it. I think we need to be playing around with these AI agents like ChatGPT. In fact, ChatGPT is being used more of a search engine now than Google in many parts of the world. And it can create this tone. You can teach it to speak, say, in a way that you'd like it to. Yeah. And it will respond in a way that you want it to, say, to a child as well. Right. So I think definitely work with them, just like with apps and going through security features and so on, making sure you're safe, the child is safe. I do it with my kids, and they love ChatGPT and other agents out there. But as long as you know that what you're putting into it, read the privacy terms. So if you're paying for, say, a ChatGPT agent, then you tend to have them more encrypted, and the safer ones are those.
Okay. If you were nervous about AI stealing your jobs, don't worry too much, because unfortunately Julia's glitched again. I think she got tired. But it's been fascinating, Jake. Just as an exercise, us genuinely asking those questions. She had no idea what we were going to talk about and was able to respond with incredible answers, really.
Yes, yeah.
And it's just going to get better. That's going to get more and more seamless, isn't it?
Absolutely. And we are still in this early phase of AI. It's only really been a couple of years with this generative AI. So the way we've been using ChatGPT and creating images just from typing in a few words. If we can do this now, and it's moving so quickly, just think in the next couple of years, it's going to be even better. It's going to learn so much by us putting in that data.
And then it's eventually going to take over. Don't say that, Jake.
Definitely not going to take over. But it's going to be like having a colleague to bounce ideas off, or just to get any idea. Maybe you're creating a birthday party for your child on the weekend. You need some ideas. It can tailor it to exactly that.
Those are the things I think will be really cool.
Yeah, it's not going away.
No,
We've got to learn more about it, for sure.
Thank you, Jake.
Oh, you're welcome.
And thank you, Julia.
Julia, please pass on. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning. And two of the virgins, Jason and Taylor, are with us now this morning. We've been chatting about it already, haven't we? It looked like a gorgeous place, by the way.
It was stunning.
Absolutely beautiful. Taylor, so why did you choose to do it? Because, as Ben has said, it's a really brave move, actually.
Yeah, well, I saw it on TikTok, actually. There was a comedian kind of taking the mick out of it, and I was like, no way. So I looked into it and was like, oh, there's a show for virgins. And I was speaking to it with a colleague at work, and she was like, you should totally apply. And I said, no, but I ended up looking at it and kind of treated the application process as a mini therapy session by itself, and just really spilt my guts, thinking that I would never get called back.
Right.
And then they did contact me, and it was so fast. And then everything's kind of happening, and then you end up on the island and you're still like reeling, going, how did this happen? But yeah, I was kind of at the point where I felt like I'd tried everything and had kind of just gone, right, I'm too scared, just give up. And like this came as a really good opportunity for me.
Yeah.
So it was a mixture of bad experiences along the way and fear that had meant you'd got to the age of 30 and you hadn't had a chance to lose your virginity. And then it would become a bigger thing than it probably ever should have been.
Honestly, it gets bigger and bigger as you get older, especially because you start off as a teenager, and like some people haven't, some people have. Then you get to your mid-20s and some people are like really weird about it. And then you get to your 30s and they're like, we've given up on you. Like they start making films about you. Then
and you'd almost given up on yourself as well. I mean, you said you'd kind of gone, well, that's it, I'm not.
I am happy with the way I am, and I'm a full person without all of this. But it was such a shame that like it's just something that I didn't have that everyone else did.
Yeah. And Jason, you went in there, you seemed to have a real problem when you started to watch the show about intimacy and any form of kind of touch, really.
I couldn't do any touching. The handshake, I didn't think a handshake was that hard, but intense.
You found it difficult? Why? Where did that come from?
I don't know. Look, my family would never hug us.
Right.
Like, my granddad would give me like, I don't know, like, maybe like that. I can't do it, but like a handshake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't do it myself. But I don't know. Whenever someone's ever tried to hug me, I feel like, oh, we're getting suffocated. I don't like that, and just don't touch me. Keep a distance. Like social distancing. COVID was great for me. Do you know what I mean? It was great. I was like 6 feet. Yeah, amazing. But I didn't want to always be like that. I wanted to one day meet a woman and be able to just like. Not just a handshake, like a hug, and just feel great, but not just in a romantic way either. Like just hugging my mum.
Because you didn't hug your mum, did you?
No.
And that you weren't a huggy family at all.
Not at all. But it was her 50th the other day, and hello, Mom. But no, so we hugged and it was great. And
how has she found that? Has she enjoyed being able to hug you as well and being able to share that?
She's still a bit on edge about hugging still, but she's a lot older than me. Well, not a lot older, sorry. She'll kill me now. But I feel like with hugging, she's set in her ways about not wanting to hug, but she has started hugging, and it's nice to see.
Makes a difference.
For me, it feels so great now. It feels so natural. Like, can I hug you?
Yeah.
But like, what about consent as well?
Yeah.
You learned that was drilled in.
But it was lovely actually to see even on the island, like you first of all put your hand on someone's knee and then hold their hand too. And the therapist seemed really kind too.
All the therapists, you can't knock them, even if you tried. They're so amazing. And we were definitely thrown in the deep end, but they were there to guide us, and they truly did guide us. And I can't spoil anything, but I know, I was there, but I know it's going to get a lot better, and some people are going to shock you. I can't say who, but it's going to shock you.
But it is an extraordinary thing, though, Taylor, because we watch you, and these are very personal, intimate things you're sharing. And even the slightest suggestion that someone's going to come close to you, you break down in tears. You were so emotionally sort of caught up in what was going on.
So I was like, I'm fine with hugging my friends and I'm very tactile with my friends and my family, but it was a case of, it was the act of being desired that made me really, it kind of put the fear in me, and I'd freeze up and I'd start feel like, crying, obviously. But for me, I am quite an emotional person, and it was this kind of freeze in the headlights moment that I kept on running into, which was causing the issue. And it was constant. And then eventually, I ended up on the island, and they were like, I remember, I think there's a part in episode 2 where I cry in front of Tom, but before I started, she said to Tom, she went, Taylor might cry. And I was thinking, I'm not going to cry. He's just looking at me. And then he looked at me and I was like, bing! And it just started. So I was like...
And was Tom your surrogate?
No, Tom's one of the other islanders.
He's one of the other islanders.
Yeah.
Because you had one of the things I was fascinated by was the sex therapists that you've got there that are helping you with your intimacy. Some of them are surrogates. So some of them are there potentially to... Just explain what... Jason, maybe you can explain what the surrogates are there for.
Well, I didn't have a surrogate, but the surrogates, Kat and Andre, they're there for the more hands-on, the nitty-gritty, as
the physicality.
The physicality of it. And you'll definitely see what happens with that. But
so if you are prepared and confident enough to go forward with something more physical than
they're the ones that do it.
The really intimate stuff, they are there for you to enable you to do that.
Yeah, they're there to
guide you through
you all the way through it and help you do it.
And help you so you know what you're doing and you can feel safe and you can feel confident. That's an extraordinary job, isn't it?
Well, it's better than... Because if you're in a situation where you're going to go home and then have to do this with a stranger, they're in a place where they're able to guide you through it, keep you safe, keep you calm, and take it in a really therapeutic place. It's not like hooking up with somebody on a night out. It's therapy, and it's all about taking you through the steps of intimacy and getting you to there.
I like actually how they discuss everything mentally and emotionally too, as well as just the physicality of everything. You just talked then about going home, because you recorded it, a year ago or something like that?
Full year. We're on the anniversary.
So how has it been, since leaving the island? Because I think it's very easy to...
Yeah, when you're there.
Yeah, and you're supported by, as I said, the therapists, I think, are great, and they seem to support you in every way that you need to. But to suddenly leave the island and then be popped back into your regular life with your families and your friends. Has it been since leaving the island, and have you been dating?
Do you want to go first?
Oh, well, thank you, ladies first. Well, I mean, for me, it was getting home was kind of for me, I know some people slid straight into it. It was kind of like hitting that brick wall all over again, because you get home and then you have to start putting it into practice. I have been on a couple of dates, but I've been so much more selective. Because for me, I was pushing myself to do things I was uncomfortable with in an attempt to try and make myself do the thing. Whereas now I can do what I feel is best for me. And I feel like my dating life has been a lot more positive because of it. Not necessarily more fruitful, but but I feel like I'm not afraid to go on a date. I'm not afraid to make the first move. And that's something that it's given me that I didn't really have before. So that's really nice. I can take that home with me.
That's fabulous. And what about you, Jason?
So mine's a bit different. Well, OK. So a couple of weeks ago, I asked someone out for the first time on a date.
Amazing.
I can't say who this person is, but you'll see her on TV. I'm not going to spoil who it is, but she's currently abroad, and I said, would you ever come back to the UK, have a drink as a date? And she was saying, I don't know if I'll come back to the UK. So I said, is that a rejection? And she was like, don't be silly, of course it's not a rejection. So I was like, yes. And I'm like, maybe I would have preferred it as a rejection, because what if she doesn't come back to the UK? But I'm glad I did it, because without the island, I would not have had the confidence. Like, short sleeves now, I would never have worn this ever. Like, I'm so more comfortable.
So you're more exposing yourself as well. It's amazing, isn't it? For a lot of people, they'll think that's a really simple thing, just putting a T-shirt on and getting your arms out in the sunshine, but actually it was a really big deal for you, Jason.
It was.
This whole thing is a really big deal for all of you. You're so brave. It's fascinating.
Thank you.
Really, really engaging watch as well.
Yeah, it is.
And
how much you've come on as people as well since the first show, because we've only watched the first one, haven't we? The first two. But you're like so confident and sparkly and...
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well done.
Thank you. I'm not crying, which is a massive difference from the show.
No, can I just say, I sat out that session because I had a sore throat, because I left the aircon on
this was the first one. You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you think you would have sat it out if you went back and did it now, even with the sore throat?
Maybe, maybe. But now, like, presently, not at all. I'll be proper in. I'll be like, yeah, man, wave it about, everything.
Thank you so much for coming on and chatting to us.
And good luck with the dating and the future exploits. Long may they be fruitful and exciting.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Virgin Island continues tonight, 9 o'clock on Channel 4. Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. It's a fascinating programme, isn't it? Lorraine Bolger and Hilary Geelan join us now, alongside criminologist Professor David Wilson. Good morning to all of you. Thank you for coming in.
Good morning.
So, Lorraine, let's go back to the beginning. How did Samantha come into your lives?
I'm a hairdresser. About 2016, I befriended her as a client. Lovely, bubbly girl, able to help people. I really thought she was fabulous.
And what did she say she did? What was her background?
She was a child therapist. She was opening a women's refuge in Dunleary. And we just wanted to help. We just wanted to help her set it up. And, she seemed amazing.
And then, Lorraine, you put her in touch with Hilary because, Hilary, you have a little boy who's how old, Reece?
He's currently 13 years of age.
13 years old.
And he has autism. So the problem is the services we don't have. So, the UK and Ireland, we don't have any services for any of our kids. So Lucy... I had a bad weekend, and Lucy, as I know her, so Lucy, I rang her up, and she came out basically that weekend, and it was a miracle that a therapist was available immediately. So I was so happy. It was like winning the lottery. It was just, whoa, we got some help finally. There was nobody ready to help us.
So this was help that you were paying for, though. She described herself as a professional child therapist. And your son has neurodivergent needs, and she said she works with children like that. So she comes to the house, she looks after you, helps a little bit. What was it like having her there? What was that moment like?
It was €100 a therapy session per hour, and she was there for 6 hours. And the first time she was there, I was kind of panicking, but it was going to be for free. And
so like a trial session?
Like a trial session, just to get a rapport up. So I thought, oh, this is going to be brilliant, this is. And as I looked at her, I didn't have enough information about what an occupational therapist does.
Sure.
But I was like looking at her going, that's a bit weird. Everything that she did wasn't what I would have said a professional would have done, and the way that she carried herself, her manner and everything.
Right. And then she kind of stayed with you guys and wanted to set up a women's refuge. So asked for donations.
Yep.
Yes.
And what did you end up giving her?
Well, she would ring you and say, I have a lady coming in with twins. We'd go off and get twin buggies, twin clothing.
women's clothes, size 8, somebody's pregnant, size 14.
So you provide all the various accessories and paraphernalia.
Because we have the contacts, people trust us.
Because we're
it's easier to ask for help for other people than it is to ask for help for yourself.
Right.
So we'd ask people, and people would provide us with size 10 clothes, double boogie, tins of tomatoes for the women's refuge, sanitary items, baby items, toys, everything.
But it wasn't just items as well. In the end, she was saying that she was going to do a trip to Lapland.
Yes.
And everybody was donating money as well.
That was going to be subsidised, and all she needed was a copy of the passport and €100 per person.
So people started paying a deposit?
Yes.
So they could go on this trip. It sounded like a fabulous idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Subsidised Lapland.
Subsidised by the church and by the refuge. Yeah.
And so you then started inviting other people to come on the trip?
Because we have a load of people that would be very maybe needy, have, children with additional needs and stuff. And so it seemed like a really...
And we also had Lynn, who had a terminally ill child with Rett syndrome, Daisy. So she was coming on the trip with her mother and her daughter, because Daisy wouldn't have been able to come on the trip because she has to have her oxygen.
Do you know how much money you fronted for that, particularly to her?
I imagine she probably got in the region of maybe 10,000.
10,000 euros.
But
for that particular...
But
scrap.
Money is not the issue.
No, of course. But it's interesting to contextualise it for the viewers to kind of understand the scale of what she was doing.
None of her scams was financial always. Some of them was just to hurt people. She left one family homeless. She left them homeless because she got them a place to rent. And they handed in their notice with their landlord. It wasn't just for financial gain.
OK. I'm not sure. We have to be careful about allegations with some of these things. I'm not sure that's been proven or not, so we have to give her a right of reply on that. So we just have to be careful that that's an alleged scam that she did. It's a fascinating thing, though, because, of course, your child is being looked after by this supposed professional who isn't a professional. At what point did you start questioning what was happening?
Yeah.
When did it start to unravel?
I picked her up from an appointment and I went to the receptionist and I said, "Hi, I'm here to pick up Lucy Fitzwilliams." And she said, "There's nobody here." And I said, "OK, Lucy Williamson?" And I thought, oh my God, I'm going mad. I'm getting her name wrong. And she said, "No." And I said, "Lucy Fitzwilliams, I don't know. And she goes, "There's a lady here by the name of Samantha." And I went, "What?" And I said, "That's a bit weird." And she says, "Well, she's the only lady here." So I said, "OK, yeah, that's her." And I walked in and there she was. And I'm like, "Lucy," I said, "the receptionist is after calling you by a different name." And she started panicking. "I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here."
So she never explained why this woman was calling her Samantha?
No.
And you didn't pursue that?
Oh, we did ourselves.
But at that point, you didn't? You then go back and start communicating?
No, you start kind of doubting yourself. Maybe I heard wrong. Maybe it was my fault. Even though I knew this lady for, at this stage, it would have been about 7-8 months. I had known her.
her €100 an hour for
per
therapy?
session, 1 hour. That's what she was charging people.
So a significant amount of money. You were paying her to do this stuff, to look after your child, the most precious thing in your life. It's an amazing thing to sit. But you can understand. I wonder, sort of, when did it really start to unravel? When did you both start to realise, and actually the wider community, that she wasn't all she'd cracked up to be?
Well, there was a few things, like she wasn't dealing with, like maybe Reese properly, but I kind of went digging and I couldn't find anything about her. And then I went to the house that she was staying in, and then I checked with the council, and the house she was building wasn't in her name. And then I went door to door and I found that the refuge didn't exist. And
how do you feel at this point?
Well, the more and more stuff that I was getting, the more and more anxious I was becoming, because I had put her in touch with a lot of people. And so then I went to the house and I went through her stuff, and I found, like, lots of things. But I found, like, the burner phones, the bank card with Samantha Cooks, all the notebooks, with all the different...
And you set up a TikTok account too, didn't you? Where there was other people who'd scammed...
We're not very good at TikTok.
Right.
We're not very good at like Instagram or anything like that. We have very busy lives, and that's one of the reasons why she was able to scam us, because we never checked out her name.
Yeah.
So the TikTok girls, Chrissy, was after setting up this account, and Lorraine was after putting in this name. Like every now and then Lorraine will put in her name to see what pops up into Google search.
Yeah.
And Chrissy's name popped up. So she said, she rang me and she said, Hilary, you need to find out how to work that TikTok thing because I don't understand it. So I emailed Chrissy as best as I could with TikTok or whatever it was telling me to do. And I said, you need to talk to Lorraine Bolger. Myself and Lorraine Bolger, we think we're with the same scam.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Chrissy added us to the WhatsApp group with 20 other people who are our victims.
It's extraordinary, David, listening to this from your perspective and your understanding of how these people work. She was found guilty of some of her crimes, wasn't she, and sentenced?
Yes, so as recently as March 2025, so just a few months ago, she was found guilty of social welfare fraud. This is when she's claiming benefits under a completely different name, Carrie Jade Williams, in which she is claiming as that character that she has Huntington's disease.
Yes.
And in effect, she defrauds the Irish government out of 60,000 euros. As Hilary and Lorraine were saying, sometimes this isn't about the money.
Sure.
This is about them being taken advantage of, because what she's very good at doing, as I was explaining earlier, and by the way, I love the fact I'm wearing Irish green. As I was explaining earlier, she's very good. Samantha Cooks is very good at being a mirror. She sees what you need and reflects back to you exactly what you want. So she was like, you know, you were looking for a child occupational therapist. Guess what? She's a child occupational therapist. She's very good at doing that. But yeah, she's been found guilty. She's also been found given suspended sentences in relation to other cons that she's taken part in. Often these cons fall into two different groups. She's either pretending that she's got an illness of some kind, or she's providing a service. The service is usually orientated towards children. The documentary, which is wonderful, is called Bad Nanny, because clearly she's claiming to be a nanny. Other times she'll claim to be a therapist. Other times she'll be claiming to be a psychologist. Or other times she'll be claiming that she's going to be a surrogate mother, an offence for which she received in England a suspended sentence.
We put all these allegations to Samantha. Her lawyers haven't had the opportunity to speak to her yet to get out what her response is. From your perspective, the thing that I can't understand is why she wants to do this. Because as the lady said, for her as well, it wasn't always about the money. It was just about control and it was about power. But why would she want to do it, David?
So I think that she's got a personality disorder. The personality disorder would be pseudologia fantastica, which I absolutely love as a name. It's just a wonderful descriptive clinical term, and it simply means compulsive liar. So this isn't somebody that is just going to tell little white lies, but consistently, compulsively lie. And the reason why she wants to lie is to present herself either as heroic or as sympathetic, and by doing so, she's a great performer. That's what you hear from Lorraine and Hilary. This is somebody who likes performing. She likes that centre stage. And so often, by presenting herself as heroic or sympathetic, she's able to manipulate you for money, although money isn't the point, because underlying all of this is probably something like narcissistic personality disorder, even a bit of psychopathy.
Can she be rehabilitated? I mean, she's in prison at the minute. She's serving a sentence now. What's the future hold? I mean, how do you protect people like Hilary and Lorraine in the future?
You protect people like Hilary and Lorraine because they're protecting other people by doing this show, by talking about what's happening. The judge has given 1 year of her 4-year sentence suspended in the hope that she gets treatment. Good luck with that. In my experience of dealing with people like this, there is no cure. They are born this way, and that's how they will remain until they die.
Well, thank you for coming in and sharing the story. How is the community? How is everybody now? Are you all sort of healing from this experience?
Well, we all have a really good support group. The WhatsApp group has led us down paths that we never thought possible, with lovely friends, and that we'll all support each other. And that with the documentary, with your help, with what's happened here today, that no other families will feel the fear that she instilled.
Good for you, Lorraine.
So we win.
Yeah.
Let's hope
Thank
so.
you.
Thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you very much.
You can watch Bad Nanny on BBC iPlayer and RTE Player from
Thank
tonight.
you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
Start the show with a bit of a question for you. If you're a parent, how many hours a day do you think your teenager spends on their phone? Maybe 2, maybe 3. Well, listen, brace yourselves, because it could actually be nearer 8 or 9 hours a day.
So neuroscientist, Sunday Times bestseller of The Dose Effect, TJ Power, lovely to have you with us, says excessive children's phone use is leading to a worrying epidemic of depression, anxiety and anger issues amongst teens.
So is it possible to prise your kids away from their phones? And if so, how do you do it? Well, TJ joins us now.
Hi,
Welcome to the
TJ.
show.
Hey, guys. Good to
Can we
have
just
you
say
with us.
thank you for doing this?
Thank you for
It's really
having me.
important. I think we all know that our children are struggling with their phones, but what is a worrying amount of time that your teens should be on their phone? When do you think, oh, this is worrying? Is it 1, 2, 3?
I think when it goes beyond 4 hours a day, that's
Yeah.
definitely too much. When it can be things like 2 hours a day, that's of course a massive, massive win. But beyond 4 hours a day is going to begin to create these challenges. We're seeing young people facing things like anger, things like depression and low mood or anxiety. And getting this number down is what I really believe is a massive focus society needs to have.
And TJ, do you think, like, is it all screen time, or or no two screen times the same? So could you be on your phone for 2-3 hours and be getting some benefit from it? Like, does it depend on what you're watching?
It does. Screen time massively varies. It's all about this brain chemical called dopamine that's become really famous. The challenging screen time is when dopamine rises far too quickly and it exhausts our dopamine system and burns it out. That's things like when we watch short form videos, it's very exhausting for this dopamine system. If you're on your phone and you're watching longer form content, some kind of educational video or a podcast or an interview like this kind of thing is long form and it's much slower release of dopamine, which is much better for your brain.
Okay.
I mean, why are our teenagers so vulnerable? Because if you think about it, they've kind of grown up with the phone all of their life. They're no different. So how would they ever know that there's a problem?
Yeah, I think for teenagers, their prefrontal cortex at the front of their brain is still developing. And it means they have what we call a hyperactive dopamine system, which effectively means that their brain is going to experience more pleasure from social media than ours does. As adults, we know that social media is still super addictive for us. So you can imagine for them, this is super challenging.
Yeah, okay.
Let's talk about through this
long-term effects.
Yeah.
What would be the long-term effects of phone use for?
It would be massive challenges with attention spans. It would be huge challenges with mood fluctuations. And it would be a real difficulty with things like depression and anxiety.
Okay.
So like Ali says, let's talk about the dose effect. This is the book, which is DOSE. Can you explain what each of those mean?
Yeah, so the first chemical is called dopamine. That's the chemical creating all of our motivation and our ability to do hard, effortful things. Oxytocin is this beautiful hormone that creates love within us. As humans, it connects us together. In the modern world, dopamine is kind of taking the focus and we're getting less connection and oxytocin. Serotonin is all about our mood. And then endorphins is this really useful chemical that can de-stress and calm our brain.
Okay. And you have techniques relating to all of those, right?
I do, yeah. We can run through some of those.
Go on, dopamine. How do we get more dopamine in life?
Yeah, so particularly with parents working with their teenagers, one of the best things for dopamine is what we call flow state. Flow state is where you get really deeply focused on a task. What's happening in the modern world is rather than actually spending lots of time in flow state, teenagers are actually watching other teenagers on their social media feeds in flow state instead of them. That basically means if you're scrolling and you're watching someone that's really good at art or singing or music or dance or sport, rather than actually actively engaging in that and earning dopamine yourself, you're watching others do it instead. So a simple thing parents and kids can do is look at their feeds, identify the most frequently occurring videos, and then actively do the thing instead of watching the thing.
Also, if you're watching someone else do something well, especially being at that age, you're comparing yourself to that person.
Yeah.
And it's not a normal comparison like you would, oh, my best friend is really good at music. It's like you're comparing yourself to Beyonce or something. You're comparing yourself to the whole world, right? That can't be healthy.
It's so tricky because obviously the content that succeeds on social media is when people are exceptionally talented or exceptionally good looking. And then it comes into this oxytocin chemical, this love hormone. We can have love for ourselves inside our brain, feeling a lot of envy and jealousy and challenges around, oh, I wish I could be like that person is very challenging for the young brain.
Yeah, sure. That's through connection then, isn't it? That's how you deal with the oxytocin.
Yeah, we really need connection. It's really important that parents really promote their kids socializing outside of the home. Since about the 1980s, 1990s, kids spending time outside of the home has fallen off a cliff, basically. And Kids are primarily socializing via like digital messages on their phone. And it's really interesting when you look into this. There's this great study by this lady called Leslie Seltzer that actually found that when two humans are texting one another, none of this oxytocin chemical releases in their brain at all, none of this connection. But when they call one another and hear their voice, it does begin to release.
FaceTime.
Yeah, so
it's completely different, isn't it? You literally have that connection straight away.
Which I suppose is the modern version of when we got home. Like your parents always go, you just spent all day with that person, why are you ringing them? But you'd be on the phone to your friends of an evening, wouldn't you?
When you were,
and you got so much out of that.
Yeah, a phone call you can get a lot out of, but just smashing through Snapchat all night in your room, you wouldn't necessarily get as much of that connection we need.
Serotonin, let's talk about that. How do you...
The most important thing we need for serotonin is much more sunlight. It seems very simple, but we know as Brits that when we have the winter, more cloudy days, it affects our mood. It's very important to get more sunlight, especially first thing in the morning. Something we work on with young people is what we call sunlight before social media.
But without sunglasses, I'm assuming.
Ideally without sunglasses, you of course don't want to hurt your eyes.
Yeah.
But if they can have a framework whereby they have to have gone outside and at least looked up and seen sunlight, any sort of sunlight, can be cloudy, before they see a social media app, it just trains their brain to first of all do something effortful, then get on social media next.
Because we talk about being out in gardens all the time.
I know, we're obsessed.
But literally we are. Because it's that moment,
not happy place.
those little moments of like serenity you get before you'd start your day of 5 minutes with a cup of coffee, watching the birds
Watering
or
the
something.
garden.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing is beautiful. You're getting dopamine from the effort of the gardening and serotonin from the nature and the sunlight. That sort of thing is what the brain needs.
Brilliant.
Endorphins?
Endorphins is this chemical that de-stresses our brain. It really helps us to release anger and frustration. A lot of young people, especially teenagers, are really struggling with this kind of like anger inside of them. Endorphins are released through physical activity. We literally evolved to physically release stress from our body. And a simple thing we do with them is something that we've just developed called steps for screen time, whereby parents could create a model with their kids and get their kids to be involved in the conversation, whereby, say, for example, they set an idea of you have to do 2,500 steps in order to earn maybe an hour of screen time. And the phone's already tracking the steps. And then if they were to do 10,000 steps, they'd have earned 4 hours of screen time. But the way in which that's going to affect the brain is they're going to have physically released endorphins. It's going to de-stress them before the phone.
It's such a good idea because there's no point locking these phones away because that's only going to, they're going to want it back as quickly as possible, right? And so it's all, and also they exist in the modern world. So I suppose your whole thing is it's about the relationship between the teenager and the device.
We just have to learn to work with these phones. They're going to be here to stay, 100%. I got an iPhone when I was super young, so I've really been immersed in this since I can really remember, to be honest. And there is a solution whereby humans still do the healthy, natural things we need to do, and we still get the time on our phones that we all love. But currently, the phone is really dominating our time and affecting the mind.
Well, let's welcome 3 students, Toby, Olivia and Marie, who have all tried and tested TJ's method.
Welcome.
Morning, guys. Thanks for coming in. Good to see you. Okay, so
nice to meet you
how much time were you spending on your phones before you met TJ?
Maybe probably like 8.
It'd be 8 hours. Well, Olivia?
I think mine would have been about 6 hours.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
Marie?
Yeah, mine's gone down 50% from like 3 hours.
50%?
Like, yeah.
That's
It's
great.
unbelievable. Did you, any of you know what the effects, the damaging effects were that you were having by using the phones?
Well, before I kind of, you know it's bad and you know you're addicted, you know you're attached, but you don't really know what to do until TJ, I guess.
Because Toby, you're like, you're a fit young guy. You should be out there playing. Were you spending time with your friends? And what about the techniques you tried? Phone.
Well, yeah, I still spend a lot of time with friends and sport. But still, in your downtime, you're just completely attached to your phone.
Yeah.
So that just completely destroys your mood, and you're just feeling low a lot of the time.
So how did phone fasting work for you?
So, for example, I would leave my phone in another room, so then I can start. So what TJ said about flow state, how you can just be completely locked in. So you're just engaged in your work and you haven't got the temptation.
Yeah.
And this really is one of the most important things is this idea of physical separation from the phone.
Yes.
If ever the phone is near us, the dopamine just takes control. Whereas when young people like Toby just mentioned actually put the phone in a different room when they're socialising or working, whatever it may be, suddenly the attachment, the addiction to it can begin to reduce.
And did you find that when you left it in the other room, you could leave it for longer as time went on?
You just kind of forget about it
Yeah.
and you completely get in this flow state and you're just not even tempted to be distracted. Because you know
they do so much. So I wake up, the first thing I do is check the time when I look and see how much time I've got before I need to get up, and then I'm on it, But I'm not necessarily I'm on social media. It's just the fact I physically have it, which annoys me.
And the thing is that first check in the day really drives the addiction to the device because our brain suddenly discovers, I can get dopamine out of this phone rather than another source. An alarm clock would be amazing, damn it.
Got it.
With a timer.
Got it. Done.
Let's get an alarm clock.
You're my alarm clock.
I am sometimes. Okay, Marie, tell us a little bit about your flow state, the technique that you was using.
Well, from TJ's talks, he told us that it takes 15 minutes to get into the flow state. So every time that you get distracted by your phone, it restarts. So
the 15 minutes starts again?
Yeah, so then it reduces like how your focus and yeah. So I leave it in another room.
And how has it changed your life?
It's definitely helped me get my homework done and like so I can like get work done and like do stuff and yeah.
Olivia, you are peak. What are you, 15?
Yeah, 15.
This is like peak, like social media, with your friends, needed to communicate with them all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
How has it worked for you?
For me, I think it was a lot about social media was used to connect with my friends a lot, obviously. Yeah. But if I was picking up apps like Snapchat to go and text my friends, it would then lead on to just having a notification popped up that someone posted a video, and it would lead into an endless
Would that be one of your mates?
cycle.
And then it's
one of my mates or just someone that I follow.
Those notifications are probably one of the worst things to have on your phone, aren't they? Because they literally distract you all the time from stopping your life.
Yeah, definitely.
And all your friends, are they using the same techniques now?
Yeah, so since TJ's those workshops, we've all sort of realised what it's doing to us. We always knew that we always felt drained after it, but we never understood the effects. But with the dose workshops, it's like easy, accessible information to understand, and we understand the impacts it is having on our life, on our hormones and stuff.
What's really interesting, all three of you said the same thing, is that you know it's bad, or that level of it is bad. But do you feel like your generation just, in many ways, doesn't have the tools to be able to put it down because it's so addictive?
I feel like you're aware, but just with the increased awareness of actually what it's doing to your attention spans and things like that. And now with these tools, you can kind of actually combat that and fight it.
You guys are the trailblazers.
And you actually you're going to carry this on, aren't you?
So yeah, he's kind of inspired me. I want to take neuroscience as a degree, so I really want to have an impact in this field like he's done.
Oh, well done,
TJ.
That's beautiful.
Game changer. Well done.
I'm so proud of these three. I feel like there's a tide that's changing with young people. I think these three are right at the front, so I kind of applaud them for what they're doing.
Oh,
TJ,
thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. And
this is life-changing.
They brought some honey as well. Did you have the honey?
That's going to be good for your serotonin.
Thank you so much.
They've got so much time on their hands, they're even making their own honey. Bees out there. Give the school a shout out.
Wade in school.
Wade in school. Lovely.
Yeah.
You still
Thanks
there?
for the honey.
Godalming College. So.
Oh, yeah. You're an old school.
And I also went to Godalming College, so it's pretty special for us.
Come on, Hammond, sell that book.
This is the book. All parents need it in their life. Get on it. And teenagers, get it as well.
TJ's new book, The Dose Effect, is out now. Thank you, TJ.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
It's mayhem in the studio here.
This is Larry.
That is Larry.
This is Larry, who's broken the pineapple. Larry, will you behave? You're a very special guest. We need you to sit down and behave. I'm not sure he's going to. Larry, alongside
Rusty, over here.
Are here because our next guest has dedicated his life to rescuing ill and injured dogs in Thailand on the island of Koh Samui.
And after posting some of the dogs that he's rescued on social media, Niall Harbison has captured the heart of millions of people around the world, successfully finding forever homes for more than 85 dogs who would have otherwise not survived.
We're in the truck again. It's actually multiple rescues. The first one is, unfortunately, seems a little bit blind, I think. But worst of all is I think his hip is broken. Already need to go to the next place, which is puppies. Oh, look at that. They're all going to come running out. Little potatoes. You can see how many ticks and fleas. Okay. We're going to give them a quick VIP treatment. Basically, I think they need a little powder, a little bit of baths, a little bit of medicine. What a day. It's one of those days where you go home and you think, I've just a tiny bit changed the world for the better. We're going to try and save you. We got very special news. You're going to be adopted. The Freedom Dance. Look at the Freedom Dance.
Oh, and Niall joins us now alongside two of the dogs that he saved, Rusty and Larry.
They enjoyed the dog, VT,
They
didn't they?
did. Did you see their ears going?
But-
So who are these guys and how did you rescue them, Niall?
Rusty he was on a chain, actually. He was on a really short little chain outside a little shack in Thailand. A chain was about a foot long or a yard long, and he just kept getting his leg cut up, and he was about half the size. He was really, really thin.
Yeah.
And he was leading a miserable life. He'd been on the chain for 18 months. He'd never been off the chain. Larry was a bit different. I found him wandering around in the main street, and he was just lost. It's as if we think he might have had a brain injury or something. He sort of has a vacant stare.
Oh, he's very chatty.
He is
I love
very
it.
chatty. So yeah, they're both really tough starts in life, like all of the dogs, but they're as happy as can be now. It's the first time I've seen them in. Rusty I haven't seen for 6 months since he lost Thailand.
Oh, really?
Or left Thailand, yeah.
Right.
How did all this start for you, Niall?
Just, well, the dog, I was an alcoholic actually when I left here in the UK, and I ended up in hospital in Thailand. I nearly drank myself to death, and I nearly did die. I was in ICU for 4 days, and I just said I was lucky I got a second chance, and I was like, if I do survive, I'm going to do something in my life that's meaningful. And oh, Mr. Rusty, come on. So yeah, once I got out of hospital, I just started by feeding one dog actually, and we now feed 1,200 every day.
1,200 dogs?
It's so interesting because when you read the book, your book is called Tina, the dog who changed the world.
One of these dogs has just done a fart that changes the world as well, by the way. I mean, Stephen Mangan's
going to be really happy about
Mangan's
it. It becomes very obvious that you
go for
saved
it. I'm gonna
them, but they also
No.
saved you, especially Tina. Can you tell us about Tina?
Yeah, well, she was a really special dog. I found her on a chain. She'd been used for breeding.
Yes.
And if you saw the first photo of her, which I see on the screen, she was the saddest dog I've ever come across in my life. And rescued her, built her back up. She'd had probably 10 litters of puppies in her lifetime, but she was living in her own mess in the smallest little area, and saved her, built her back up. But she only lived for 6 months because the damage had been done. She had kidney failure. But me and her had the best time together, and I used to create memories for her, and so she was like, I guess, a soulmate. And now in her honour, I'm trying to change the world and save even more dogs.
But she was so lovely right from the start. But there was a moment where you tried to help her and then you fed her.
Oh, I was still fairly new to the dogs, and there's a thing called refeeding syndrome. So if you've been like, even a human, if your belly shrunk and you're starved. I was quite new to dogs. So I was like, I got her off the chain and I was like, right, lovely big meal for you. We're going to spoil you.
Anything you want,
Yes, of course.
And it exploded her stomach with gas, and she nearly died the first night. So we had to sort of do an emergency literally punch her hole in, and the gas just came out. But she nearly died the first night, So I nearly messed up there. But
So you've learned an awful lot along the way.
Yeah.
And I imagine that you must be struck by the generosity of the people now that are helping you feed these 1,200 dogs a day.
Yeah, we've got a brilliant team for starters. Like I still do it every morning on my moped. I feed 100, but we feed 1,250. Rusty would have been one of those back in the day. And we feed them like a mixture of, it's fresh food, like it's rice, carrots. It's nearly better than anything we eat. Coconut oil, kale. So they get fresh meal every day.
So you're looking after these dogs, but the plan is ideally you want to try and help control the wild dog, or the stray dog population, don't you? That's the big challenge.
It's really hard for people here in the West to understand, but there's about 8 to 10 million street dogs in Thailand. So it's like the population of London in wild street dogs. So if you go down to the local, Starbucks or a restaurant, there would be 10 dogs outside it. So yeah, I realised early that sterilising, which is neutering, spaying, was really important. And we've done nearly 80,000 dogs now we've sterilised. So that's stopping some of the suffering.
Wow. And people all around the world love their dogs so much.
Yeah.
And everybody's so interested now in your social media, which you didn't kind of expect, really. It's a complete surprise.
Yeah, it's like, It's funny because we're just walking through with these two just outside the studio, and it's funny, I was just watching, there's a canteen and there's about 50 people, and they didn't know who the dogs were or anything, but just you watch everybody's face, like,
drawn to
and they smile, you know? And that's what I think why people follow me on social media is, it's just a bit of good news, you know? Like, you go on, everything's so bad in the world at the moment, if you know, so I try and just tell their stories in a positive way.
And you've managed to rehome some of the dogs too.
Yeah, Rusty's in Yorkshire, Larry's in Norwich.
Liam Gallagher's got Buttons, right? Is that right?
Yeah. It is, yeah. Buttons was a tiny little dog who just came in one day to the sanctuary, and then I got an email about a month later in our application. Actually, in our application form, it was like, you know, name, Liam Gallagher. And I was like, well, that's obviously, it must be a common name. And then I saw occupation, singer. And I was like, this is just my mates winding me up. You know? But it turned out it was actually him, and he'd been watching the stories and stuff, so it was wonderful.
I just love the idea of him having a dog called Buttons as
Yeah,
well. You would never imagine it, would you?
No.
You'd never imagine it, totally not, no. And then are you going to set up a sanctuary as well?
Have a sanctuary at the moment, and we're building a hospital.
Building a hospital.
The hospital's open and we're treating dogs there, but we're building an even bigger one in the background. So that's named after Tina, which the book is about. So it's kind of she missed out on a really nice life. So it's kind of that the hospital is going to treat so many dogs in her honour.
Yeah. It's an incredible story.
It is an incredible story.
And Sandy and
Look at all the ladies behind the camera going shh.
Niall's book, Tina the Dog Who Changed the World, is out now. Continued good luck with it. I mean, you're doing an extraordinary thing, and it's really special. It's lovely to meet these dogs.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning. Now, romance fraud costs Brits £80 million every year, and our first guest today is hoping his story will warn others.
Yeah, 70-year-old Roderick Lodge believed he had found love again after he tragically lost his wife. But what seemed like a promising new romance soon turned into a nightmare when Roderick realised his new fiancée had scammed him out of his life savings.
He's here now to share his story alongside the head of the National Trading Standards Scams team, Louise Baxter. Good morning to you both. Good morning. Good morning, Roderick. Can I start by chatting to you, first of all, about... So you lost your wife. You've been together for 25 years. Can you tell me about how this whole thing first started?
Well, I had been in the UN for over 15 years and I'd visited Kenya a lot. I've been based in Kenya from 91. And I'll be honest with you, I love the country. I love the smells, colours. But when my wife died, I was in a situation where new horizons, I thought. So I went back to Kenya because there were lots of friends there. And I met this lady. And quite quickly we became intimate. And I thought she was going to be a part of my life. That was in 2020. And then by 2023, I'd retired the year before. And I thought that this lady was going to be a part of my life. But then she got a job in southern Sudan. And we ended up, she said, look, I've got another friend who has heard about you. And can I invite her to communicate with you? So we started chatting on Viber. And we started just a chat every day. And within 3-4 months, it was going further. And even though I hadn't met her, I started thinking of marriage. Stupid. But anyway,
It seems, I mean, in hindsight, you can hear how that sounds, but in the time, in that moment, Roderick, you felt a real connection with this person.
Totally. And because I'd retired, I could spend more time there. So in December of 23, I went, and I was staying with friends throughout the country.
This is in Kenya?
In Kenya, yeah. But to be honest with you, by the end of the April, she wouldn't come to meetings. I said, come to Nairobi. She was at the coast. And I was sending more and more money for...
So the way this transpired, you had this original friend.
Yeah.
That relationship had to end for whatever reason. She connected you up with one of her friends.
Yes.
And you were just communicating via text, via email, via WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And this friend started saying, look, I'm building this house. This could be our forever home, but I need some money to try and keep it going. Could you send me some money to start improving the home?
The original lady, had told me that Anita, this lady that was created, had got a beauty business. She got 30 employees. She lived in a very nice part of Nairobi. She got 2 cars, 4x4, and sounded like a real businesswoman, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of very capable women in Kenya, to be honest. And so I started funding the development of the house. She had actually built the house, but needed the actual internal fitments. But it ended up totally altogether about 85,000.
That's how much you sent her?
Yeah.
Over the space of how long, Roderick?
Well, that was, I sent a few thousand to Mary to help her just with her car and such. But so with Anita, it was over a year.
Over a year, you spent £85,000. At any stage, did you think, oh, maybe this isn't the right thing to do? Or did you get any warnings from anybody? How did the bank respond?
Friends of mine said, look, Rod, please, think about this, And
so they were concerned, your friends were concerned?
Yeah. But it wasn't until really the beginning of May last year that I said, enough. The last thing, to be honest, was that her dad was in hospital with cancer treatment, more money. And I said, so I got a friend of mine who lived in Mombasa to check the hospitals for me. No such person.
So you'd gone to Kenya to try and finally meet her because you'd been communicating, sending her all this money, and then she kept avoiding coming to see you in Nairobi. She was some different part of the country. But by the time you'd sold your house, you'd gone over there, you were funding your stay by staying in Airbnbs. By the time eventually it dawned on you that Anita didn't exist, you didn't have enough money to come home, did you?
Absolutely. I've been very lucky over my years in aviation where I have a very good core of friends. And lots of my mates, in fact, they used to work for me when I was in the UN because I used to have air ops operations. And all the guys, one particular guy, a very, very good friend of mine, a French chap, he's a 380 driver with Emirates. And they actually clubbed together, the group of the boys clubbed together to get me a staff ticket home.
So you've spent all your money, your life savings have gone, you've sold your house.
Yeah.
And you realise it's all gone on a scam.
Yeah.
What did you do when you came home?
I went on the streets for 2 weeks because I couldn't actually find a location that would allow me to go into the system of being, without a house. And eventually Guildford helped me because I used to live in Guildford Borough. And they helped me. And so for 2 months I was in a housing, hostel.
Yeah.
I still had to pay, but thank God I've got a few pensions, but I basically live from month to month.
And Roderick, is there anything you can do about this now? Have you pressed charges? Have you opened an investigation?
I've done that with the Kenyan police.
Right.
The problem with Kenya, seriously, is it's a great country, but unfortunately you need money to do everything.
Right.
You can't get the police to do anything without money, and I didn't have money.
Yeah.
And they actually warned me, because we actually physically know where the original lady lives.
Right.
And they told me, the police told me, said, do not go there because she could say you're intimidating her and take a case against you. Not that I've got any money to pay for her court action, but yeah.
I think your bank, one of them particularly, reached out a number of times and said, look, Roderick, we aren't sure what you're doing is the right thing to do. I just need to give you their right of reply. This is what Halifax have said. They questioned the payments you were making on multiple occasions to the legitimacy of Anita, and they gave guidance on Romance Sands. We spoke to Mr. Lodge on several occasions to express our concern about the payments, to ask how he knew the person claiming to be his partner was genuine. We explained the threat of romance scams specifically, but unfortunately he continued to authorise the payments. We urge people to never send money to someone they haven't met in real life and to always listen to advice or warnings about scams from their bank. I mean, in hindsight, you can hear what they're saying there, and it seems rational to us, and you've already said what an idiot you were. Why do you think, Roderick, you fell for this so?
Well, because the contact came through the First Lady, I honestly thought that couldn't be the case. You know what I mean? It's not like one of these romance scam operations from Nigeria, you know what I mean, that so many people get caught by, because I had known...
There was a tangible person at the start of it.
Yeah, yes.
Louise, let's come to you now. These romance scams are really on the up, aren't they?
Yeah.
Cases. Who's most vulnerable?
The people that are currently reporting that they are victims of romance fraud are the 55 to 65-year-olds. That's the highest category. It's gender equivalent, so it's equal to men and women. There's a slight difference, 52% saying it's men, 48% saying it's women. But it's massively underreported because of the blame and the shame around it and the embarrassment. But I think we need to call it what it is. It's abuse. It's emotional abuse. So Roderick was emotionally abused. He was coerced. He was groomed. He was controlled and manipulated by somebody he thought that he was in a relationship with, and who hasn't given money to somebody that we're in a relationship with. We wouldn't think twice about it.
Yeah.
So we've got to be kinder to people that are victims of fraud and scams. Even some of the language we say, we would never say, I fell for a mugging. We say, I fell for a scam. So we're putting too much heat on people like Roderick. So you're extremely brave, as you know, that I've already talked to you about, in the fact that you've come on to talk about this. Because the only way we're going to deal with it is by driving the reporting up, which will then drive the law enforcement response up, and actually us getting a truer picture of the scale of it.
What can we do to, if you've got family members, you've got friends, and Roderick's friends were trying to say something, the bank clearly made an effort to try and get him to think carefully about this. What can we do to try and protect the people around us that we're worried about?
Come on, Louise, come on, programmes like yours.
Yeah, Roderick, we don't want them to come to this stage, though, do we? We want to stop them before that, so...
Something about, so there's a acceptance of we're in what I would call a storm of vulnerability at the moment.
Right.
So you've got situational vulnerability. So without telling you, but we've had this conversation, is bereavement causes situational vulnerability. Loneliness, social isolation causes that situational vulnerability. Loneliness is the equivalent on your health of smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Right? So we lean into things. And then if somebody gets us in one of those periods of vulnerability or susceptibility, we get pushed into what's called a hot state, which then challenges our decision-making processes. So the best thing to do is ask someone else who's objective. What do you think about this? What do you think about these communications? And if you're that person that gets asked, deal with that person kindly and empathetically. It's not rocket science, because then it's permission to have an open conversation, which then allows people to chink away at that hot state and see the decision they might be making and actually the reality of it.
Is there anything else that individuals can do to protect themselves?
The banks. So from a banking sector perspective, if you think that somebody has been a victim of fraud or scams, or you yourself are, report it directly to your bank. There was a new system that came in October last year, where is if people have authorised and pushed money away from their bank account, they should get a refund as long as they haven't been grossly negligent. So as long as the person hasn't completely ignored all of the warnings from the bank, they should get a refund. And if they're vulnerable, they should get their money back. Okay. Protect your money with your bank and then report it to Action Fraud, so that, again, we can drive up that reporting and get that intelligence.
Yep.
As Louise says, go on, Roderick.
I've lost my future. I will be truthful. I was hoping for a retirement in Kenya. I've still got lots and lots of friends there, but I haven't got even enough money to get an airfare there now, you know what I mean? And I do have pensions, but it would be very difficult to go there now. Unfortunately, well, it's impossible.
Yeah. But it's very brave of you coming on and sharing, because it's not often we get men talking about being scammed, even though, as you were saying, the stats are pretty similar.
Yep.
Usually it's the other way around. So, thank you for coming and sharing your story. And
thank you, I appreciate it.
Anybody hears what we've been talking about today and it helps them, it's going to be worth it.
Oh,
hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. For all that, though, there have been renewed calls for the introduction of graduated driving licences. This follows the very recent case of a 19-year-old who was jailed last week for causing the death of 3 teenagers just 6 weeks after passing his driving test.
Our first guest today is helping lead this campaign. Crystal Owen's 17-year-old son, Harvey, tragically lost his life in a car accident alongside his 3 friends while on a camping trip in Snowdonia. Crystal joins us now to share her story. Good morning, Crystal. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm so sorry about your loss. Can you tell us about what happened on that day back in 2023 to Harvey?
Yeah, so a few days before, Harvey told me he was going to go away with some friends that we knew from school. He'd just turned 17 a couple of weeks before, and so immediately I was like, I want to know more. Yeah. He showed me a video message which confirmed that he was going to be stopping at a friend's granddad's house, a cottage in Harlech, and so, you know, everything tied up, his story did, and the two friends we thought he was going with, you know, we'd known for years. So after work on the Saturday night, he set off with what I thought was one of the parents going to this granddad's house. He texted me when he was there. The next morning, I got a picture from the view from the cottage. So everything tied up. He'd left in like a thin coat, black leather shoes, tiny little rucksack, no sign of a camping trip whatsoever. And then I went about my day after getting this message thinking, oh, he's having a lovely time. I was really happy for him to have his first weekend away with some friends. And my literal words were to my partner, what harm can he come to, you know, tucked up safe at a friend's granddad's, you know. And then my messages didn't go through, like, throughout that day, and I just put it down to Signal. And
because you're trying to text him to make sure he was okay?
Yeah, like later on in the day, and then nothing, and yeah, and then from all of this, it basically ended up with us being frantic with Rory, finding out that they'd left not long after this picture message that I'd received. They'd set off for Snowdonia, which I had no clue about. And then they were missing, basically. And our world, it was just an absolute living nightmare. We were confident that they were going to be found, but we then found out that this young boy that he'd recently met at college, who was a year older, had actually been the one that had drove them there. So I was just in a blind panic, and we went to Snowdonia, and we were just following all these false leads. And then we had the worst news any parent could ever dream of. It was just horrific. So we found out that the driver had lost control on a rural road on a bend, and all four boys, they ended up in a water-filled ditch and all lost their lives to drowning.
Can't begin to imagine how you process something like that.
I still haven't processed it. It's, yeah.
There's so many elements of this that you will have poured over and gone over with your family to try and understand, starting with why Harvey felt the need to lie to you about the trip in the first place.
I think with Harvey, he was a typical teenager. He knew I wouldn't have allowed him to go camping in winter, so he just twisted the truth. And, you know, it wasn't a terrible lie. They weren't doing anything wrong, you know. He just knew on that occasion I wouldn't have allowed. And he also knew I was a bit of a nervous wreck with him on his push bike, and I was always checking on him. So he also knew I wouldn't have allowed a young driver who I didn't know to be taking him to Wales. But this is just teenage behaviour, you know. He was the most perfect lad you could ever wish to have as a son, you know, and he just did what any teenager, we've all been there, we've all done that, you know, twisted the truth to get our freedom, basically. But sadly, this was to be his, you know, he never got to learn from this mistake, and this was to be his one and only trip away.
And the lad who was driving, it actually, he wasn't overdoing the speed limit or anything, was he? It was an accident, essentially.
Well, only a very tiny percentage of crashes are classed as an accident, so it's around 4%. So the driver is responsible, and yeah, ultimately his driving was what caused the crash. Because, and this is why we're fighting for this law, because, you know, driving on rural roads, which is the most dangerous road you can drive on, you know, young people are 70% more likely to crash on a rural road. You know, this isn't covered in their driving lessons, you know, and it's just comes with experience, you know, so a more experienced driver would know that just because a speed limit is 60, that's not a target, you know, you have to drive to the conditions, if it's been raining, etc. So that's why we're fighting with this. It's not that, you know, we're saying young men are like boy racers, we're saying that it's inexperience.
Yeah. We were talking about it actually in the production, weren't we?
Because my Jack is 18 and he's just passed his driving test and loves the freedom that being able to drive a car brings him, loves being able to share those journeys with his friend. Can you explain what a graduated driving licence is then, what the implication of that would mean to Jack and lots of other young people who've just passed their driving test?
Yeah, so it's been in place in many other countries for decades now and has been hugely successful. It's worked in every single country. So what we're asking for, there's many forms of a GDL, but what we're asking for is to focus on the 17 to 19-year-olds, which is the most risky age group, and we're asking for a 6-month learning period. So that could be with a logbook, etc. It doesn't have to be all paid lessons, but they need to gain valuable experience on all.
Because there is that urgency, isn't there, that when you turn 17, you want to pass your test really quickly, so you have to learn for 6 months minimum.
Because if you think like somebody could have 5 lessons right now and they would never have drove in the dark, they would never have drove in wet conditions, so that's all hugely valuable experience. And so we're just asking for 6 months learning period, and then we're asking for 6 months with no peer age passengers unless they are accompanied by an older adult, which means they'll be less likely to crash. And there would be exemptions in place for young parents and certain jobs, etc. And I think the message we need to get out is that, you know, this isn't a case, and I've heard it all, just because your son died, just because your son was an idiot, blah, blah, blah. You know, all these trolls and stuff say all this stuff, but ultimately, this is, you know, I'm not trying to punish young people. This is actually protecting them. You know, my son and his friends never, ever expected to get in that car and not come home. And I think any young person who is against this should speak to Harvey's remaining friend, who lost 3 best friends that day. You know, this is a lifetime thing. It's not, there's no restart button, you know, their lives have ended. And I think with this law as well, it would bring insurance down, you know, because at the moment, people say, you know, you're trying to restrict their freedom, when actually many, you know, young people are priced out of driving because they can't afford it because of the insurance premiums, and we know that this law would bring insurance down. So it's making them drive, enabling them to drive, but in a safe way.
We also know that this law does work. It's been implicated in Australia, in New Zealand, and it's actually brought the death rate down by 83%.
That's in Canada, where it's been in place since the 1990s. I mean, this is the thing, in every single country it's worked between 20 and 40%, depending, because every country has different elements of it. And that's what we can't understand. It's a proven method. The government keeps saying they want to look at root causes. We know the root cause, and that is brain development. So no matter what they want to put in place, nothing has been as effective as a graduated licence, nothing.
You're also campaigning for something called Harvey's Hammer as well. I mean, the part of your story that is so brutally painful is the fact that they crashed, but then tragically they died because of drowning.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I believe my son shouldn't have been able to get in that car because they're children at the end of the day. It's 17, 18, they're a child, and they shouldn't be in charge of a lethal weapon, you know, and responsible for other people's lives at such a risky period of their driving, like, you know, their driving experience. So that's my ultimate aim. However, the reason some of the road deaths have come down in young people is because of safer cars, and with that came, obviously, tougher glass windows that can't be put down in window and stuff. So in my eyes, when they did all these new safety laws, this should have just been mandatory in every car. You know, it's like having a life jacket on a boat. You don't ever expect to use it.
So if you get trapped in the car and you can't get out, there is a hammer that will smash the glass, so you can
in seconds.
Evacuate if you need.
And it would, I mean, it's rare that these, obviously, as things are as tragic as what happened with Harvey and the boys, but in them situations, this is a matter of life and death, and they cost a few pounds. You know, it's not a big thing. It's,
So this is a second petition you're taking to Downing Street. Where are you with it, Crystal, and what do you think is going to happen?
Well, it's just frustration all the way, really. We've got over 100,000 signatures on this petition. We actually had a parliamentary debate with over 30 MPs turned up. Only 2 were sort of against it. You know, everybody else was urging the government, saying this is long overdue. We've got the RAC backing it, the AA backing it. There was 99 organisations signed the PACS manifesto, which included graduated licences. We've got every behavioural psychologist in the country urging the government to do this. We've got decades worth of research and evidence, and we are just at an absolute loss at why this is not being put in place.
Have you managed to speak to the Transport Secretary?
I've had a meeting with the Roads Minister, with the previous Roads Minister and this Roads Minister, and we were hopeful that this government were going to do more, but we're still waiting on the road safety strategy.
Right.
And they keep saying, like I say, that they're going to look at root causes. And I think anybody, again, who questions this law should just spend some time looking into brain development of young people. You know, telling a teenager is not always enough. You know, when people say, oh, educate your kids, nobody ever expects it to be them. You know, no parent ever expects it to be their child. And with Harvey, I mean, this generally was the last thing on my mind at the time. You know, he was just turned 17. We had, as far as we knew, had not a single friend who'd passed the test. You know, he only had one friend who was taking some lessons. You know, we never, ever expected him to have a friend who was drove and for this to happen.
Well, Crystal, thank you for coming in and sharing your story. Best of luck with the petition, and hopefully you get something back from the government. Regardless, at least it gives you somewhere to go, because it is really apparent. And I know that my kids have both passed their driving tests. We just want to keep them safe.
Yeah.
And if you don't want anyone to go through what you've all been through.
That's the thing. There's nothing more restrictive than death, and my son has lost his life, as many others. And I think when people realise that, like, 95 people every week are killed or seriously injured as a result of a young driver, and they hold less percentage of driving licences, they drive less miles than any other age group, that's a huge number.
Yes.
And, when you know that there's a solution just there, ready, that would work, it's madness. It's madness that this has not been put in place.
Thank you for coming in today, Crystal.
Thank you so much.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
How beautiful is that? It was the music that
It's lovely, isn't it? Thanks to Hair Care Home's TikTok account, Joan's video has already been seen by 200,000 views. She joined us alongside her granddaughter, her favourite granddaughter, Nicola.
The world. Your favourite granddaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's not your favourite. Oh, you're not my favourite. Well, I love you all.
Yeah, but Nicola's the best.
Yes, Joan, you can't have favourites, can you? You can't have favourites.
Not in a family.
No, but
she's the one that's on telly, isn't she, with you?
I've got 24 grandchildren.
Exactly. They're all your favourites, aren't they?
Everyone.
I'd just say,
they are,
just so you don't have to remember all their names, I'd just say Nicola is your favourite.
Yeah, just say Nicola. She rocks.
So, Joan, how did this happen? How did you go viral, Joan?
What were you doing, Nan, at the home with Sophie, putting your makeup on?
Yes.
And then what happened? How many people saw you?
Thousands.
Can you believe it?
No, I can't.
And was you reading all the comments and everything, what they were saying about you?
Well, not all of them, because I didn't want to read the dirty ones. You're not going to tell me there wasn't a few.
There's a few dirty ones.
I think they were all clean, Nan. You're all right.
No.
And all you was doing is putting on your makeup, and this is something that you do every single day, and you think you should put your makeup on.
Every day. When I get up, I go down and I have a wash.
Yeah.
Then I start to put my clothes on.
Yeah.
I think, right, makeup, where are you? And I slap it on.
You slap
even
that
if I
makeup
don't go
on.
out.
Yeah, slap on, yeah.
And it just makes you feel better. I think makeup is the one thing that makes you feel like a little girl, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does make you feel better. If I go outside, if I go to the dustbin and I'll be going wrong, get in the house quick.
Joan, you're 103 years old. I can't believe it. You don't look a day over 70.
Oh, how lovely.
You do not look a day over 70, honestly. And I'm just saying, you're 103 years old. And did you even know what TikTok was?
No, I thought it was a clock.
Well, Nicola, what happened?
I thought TikTok was a clock.
Yeah, well, so do
Honestly.
I, to be fair. I mean, I don't know too much
I never
about
knew what it
But you're a viral sensation. Everybody loves you. And everyone's taking your tips now
Yeah.
to put their makeup on.
Makeup tips.
God, I've got no tips to give you.
You're just doing what you're doing, right?
Yes.
And they're loving it. Nicola, how did this all come about? What happened?
So Nana's always put her makeup on every morning. I've never seen Nan without a makeup.
No,
She's
you
always
haven't.
glammed up.
No.
And then the one morning, lovely Sophie from Millcroft Care Home, she was there and she, I'll take a video of you, Joan. And it just went crazy.
Yeah.
I saw it on my Facebook page and I was like, oh, look, showing around the family, look at Nan. We were like, oh my goodness. And then when next time I visited Nan, Sophie was like, look at your Nan on TikTok. And Nan kept saying, what's going on that clock? What's going on about that clock?
And the maddest thing is you got over 200,000
She did.
views. I mean,
She
it's probably
did.
more than that now. It's probably at 500,000 by now. This was on the 14th of April. You've gone viral and all you did was put your blusher on.
Yes.
Next thing you know, you're getting freebies sent left, right and centre.
Everywhere, yes, everywhere. And everybody's coming on and going, ooh.
Everyone's bowing.
And Joan, has your technique changed at all through the years, or are you doing the same thing you did when you were...
No, I just do just plod along, do the same old thing.
Wonderful.
And you know when you put your blusher on, do you smile to put the blusher on or not?
No, I did at first, and then I thought, well, when I drop that, it might I don't do it. So I don't do it
you just
now.
put it on.
Put it on, yes, and brush it off.
But
like
you are
that.
beautiful, you know. I mean, you say it on the video, or was it Sophie who said it's on the video?
She's beautiful.
Everyone tells you how beautiful you are. Do you feel beautiful?
No, I don't.
Oh,
Are you actually joking? You're stunning.
No, I don't really.
Oh, but you are, Nan.
I don't know.
You
Call
are.
this upper.
She loves a downer.
Well, can you give us a little bit of a demonstration, Joan? Because we want to get a few tips, because obviously we're on this morning. It's a big show. People want to know your tips. Could you just go through a little bit of your routine for us?
Show us your blush,
and
Nan.
explain everything
Oh,
for us.
where's my mirror?
Do you want me to hold your mirror?
Is
No,
rouge
I
blush?
can't
Is it
do
the
it
same
just
thing?
I didn't know that, but yes, it
Is
is.
it?
Stick your rouge
is
on, Nan.
And
Yeah.
that's a blusher, isn't it?
It is.
Rouge is a
yeah.
blush.
Yeah. Stick your rouge on.
Was it always rouge back
Do
in
you want
the
me
day?
to hold your mirror for you?
Well,
I'll hold your mirror.
Oh,
There you go.
okay.
There you go. Can you
Thanks,
see yourself?
Alison.
You're so stunning. There you go.
I've got to
So what are you
wash
doing
now.
now? What are you doing first? What have you just done? Just wipe it straight on with a sponge?
Yes, just give it a wipe over, you know, and I think of always how much on there. If there isn't, you have to put some more on.
Right, okay. So there's your mirror. Go on, bang it on. So you're already beautiful without it, to be fair, but you are even more beautiful with it.
Need
No, I'm not. I'm just an old woman. Come off it.
You're not just an old
just
woman.
an
Do you
old
know
woman.
something? We're all going to be there. Well,
We're
hopefully,
lucky.
Hopefully, I will get to 100.
And we're all going to die together, so it don't matter, does
Exactly.
it?
We all go to the same place, don't
Of course
we,
we
darling?
do. So just talk to me when you see me there.
Without a doubt. Don't ignore you. Don't
We do
ignore
these
you.
tutorials up there.
I shall have my stick in the fire if you ignore
Come on, put
me.
some on me then. Give me a little bit as well. Come on.
Oh, wait
Don't share the love.
Wait.
What about me? Oh, stunning.
Well done, Nan.
Just flick it on.
Oh, you look
Flick
stunning.
it
Let's have a
on.
look.
That's all it
Flick
is.
on. Come on, give me a bit then.
Oh,
I'm
right.
ready. Come on. I want a
Now,
little bit.
Muller, don't be so hasty.
All right.
oh, I can't turn round.
All right, you got me. Make me look beautiful.
Oh, you're beautiful enough, you are.
Oh, thank
my
you.
Wow,
dear.
Nan, well done.
Don't make me even though. Make me even. Go on.
Now,
Henry.
stop it, will you? What have I told you?
You are a lot older. You've got to respect your elders, ain't you, Bab?
Of course you have. I'm older than you. Am I? I don't know.
You don't look it. I bet you're so proud of your grandma, aren't you?
Yeah, she's my mate as well.
Come on, even me up. Don't leave me hanging.
I've got 24 grandchildren.
Yeah.
25 now, but
And she always says, I'm the best, aren't I, Nan? I'm your best friend.
Joan, I've only got one cheek done. Come on.
I
I've
know.
got the rest of the show to do.
Did I tell you not to moan?
You did.
Yeah.
Well, shut up then. Now, shut up and behave yourself.
Thank you. Can I have a kiss? You're lovely.
Oh,
you are
lovely.
lovely. I know you're only playing. You're so gorgeous. You really are. Thank you so much. Well, we got the tips. Just bang it on.
Bang it on.
Yes,
look
Bang
right.
it on, Nan.
Great.
I look good.
She can do me during the break.
Let's go in there.
Lovely. Joan,
Thank you,
thank you
Joan.
for coming on the show. Thank you, Nicola.
Thank you for having us.
You look beautiful.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.